Welcome back. Love Boat Project, episode 50. 50?
Woo,
50?
woo,
50? That's
woo.
amazing. I'm your host, Mike Taylor. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mike Robertson. Ahoy, Mike.
Happy Mother's Day. You didn't
What an
think they were going to
odd...
sneak one more holiday in, did you? so,
Of all the holidays to go on a cruise for, I, although I can understand having a Mother's Day cruise to bring your mother on, why would you go on that cruise if you're not taking your mother on that cruise? Wouldn't you, if you showed up and you were like, "Holy shit, I'm on a Mother's Day cruise." Who
well,
knew?
well,
Don't they
and the
have to
thing
tell you
is,
these things?
and like we obviously had the sign, but it looked like a different easel, but it's the same sign we get at the beginning of every holiday episode. But there were no Mother's Day themed things. Like the cruise show was not a Mother's Day
Just the
cruise
sign.
show.
Just
Or
the
there
sign or the desserts,
Right, or there
maybe,
should have been like a mother's brunch or something like that.
or
There really
announce it
wasn't.
going on
Yeah,
now in the Acapulco lounge. Something. I do agree. Other than that big weird card,
which
there
they
was
always
no.
have. Which
There was
which
more
the if you
fanfare for the Mexican Fiesta night than there
yeah,
was for the
if
Mother's
you
Day cruise.
if you pull that card down, it says Happy Halloween. so,
It's
but
what, and I thought, wow, what a weird. Okay,
I was
okay,
surprised.
maybe.
I
I
was
was
surprised,
too.
and the funniest thing is, in a year where we complained consistently, and I will always complain that we didn't get a Christmas episode. Not
Yeah,
only do we get a Mother's Day episode, which is great to me, there should be 5 holiday references episodes a year because it's easy. And you can
100%,
alternate them
100%.
and everything.
Sure.
But this was the most holiday storyline. There were
Yeah,
3 mother storyline. Like it fit perfectly.
I thought so
This is
too.
easy. This is a layup for show writers.
I definitely thought so. Yeah, I thought they all fit. Obviously, the theme of the episode. I thought it was well put together. They all made sense.
Well, 2 of them made
Well,
sense.
I mean, two of them made sense. Let's be honest. But more on that here in a few.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about the Love Boat Season 2, Episode 27, the Season 2 finale, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo.
We did it. Well, we haven't done it yet. Third wheel, Grandmother's Day, and Second String Mom.
Woo.
Oof. Okay. Original air date on this guy, May 12th, 1979, normal time slot, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Mike, we had a hell of a lead in this week for the Love
Ooh.
Boat. Oof. It has been killing me not to tell you about this since I saw that. What better to sort of get in the Love Boat mood than an hour, a TV special? Paul Lynde goes mad. That's how it's spelled. 4 D's. Or 4 A's. Yeah. Comedy special with Charo or April Lopez, Vicki Lawrence, and Maria Osmond. Two of the three
Wow.
former guests on the ship.
Oh, I feel like Marie Osmond's going to be on this boat eventually.
We got to have Paul Lynde, right? God, I
I mean,
love
I
Paul
hope
Lynde.
so. And you would think he'd be perfect. Although I would say Paul Lynde is set up for a Norman Fell Award just in terms of there's no way his expectations would meet his performance.
Oh, unless they literally shot him out of a cannon,
Or
and it would be disappointing.
yeah, I'm late for the boat, and he just ends
Oh,
up on
they
the
just
other side.
launch him like a skeet.
I would
Love Paul Lynde.
love, I would love to see Paul Lynde on here. I think he would be great. That's exciting, and I guess that
That is
feels like
exciting.
because it's funny you say Paul Lynde. As I had texted you, we had gotten an email a couple episodes ago about promos, ABC promos for
Yeah,
like
yeah.
tonight on the Love Boat, and
Hmm.
so I've started to look for them, and there are a decent amount of them for our upcoming season 3, and we'll try to incorporate them in the reels and things like that. But there was one where there's a Paul Lynde loves the movies or something like that before this. So it's
Ooh,
like
okay.
I wonder if he had like a deal with ABC for like a few comedy specials.
His orbit's getting a little closer to the boat too, which is
You
good
never
if he's
know.
got that
If he's with
relationship with
ABC, that's a
ABC.
good sign.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Um, CBS, 9 to 11. We got a TV movie, and this one is a doozy, Mike. First of all, directed by our old friend and lead guitarist singer of Kiss, Mr. Paul Stanley. Hello, everybody!
This is why he couldn't do the Sonny Bono episode a couple
That's
weeks ago.
it. They couldn't afford him. He was out directing a TV movie called The Ultimate Imposter. What? What could this be about? Tell us, Paul Stanley. A secret agent is trained by having his brain linked up to a computer. He is then sent on a mission to rescue a Russian sub-commander. Okay.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. I'm ready to field any questions about the Ultimate Imposter.
So is the Ultimate Imposter Russian or American?
You tell me, Mike.
Well,
That's one of those,
it would be weird if he was. So is this like some sort of The Computer Wears Tennis Shoes meets Hunt for Red October?
Oh, that's funny. That's really funny. Well, let me throw an additional wrench into this situation by telling you who's in this movie. Starring Joseph Hacker,
Not familiar.
Aaron Gray.
Oh, from Buck Rogers and Silver Spoons.
Silver Spoons, yeah. And that was the curveball there. And Macon McCalman. So I have to think Macon and Joseph, one of them was the sub-commander and one of them was the secret agent.
I'm going to go with Joseph Hecker as the spy and Malcolm, whatever his name is, Macon McCumberland.
Macon McCumberland?
Yeah. That's definitely a Russian sub-commander doing a Swit-esque accent, I'm sure.
Very. Oh, yeah. He has a flat top like Sean Connery did. Yeah.
Very, how you say sleeky?
It's not good. NBC from 8 to 10. 8 to 10. What could it be? 2-hour block? Oh, it's Chips.
Nope.
The Greatest Adventures of Chips. It's a clip show, Mike.
Oh, Chip clip show.
A 2-hour Chip clip show.
And this is like they're in season finale territory as well. Like you're going out on a clip show?
Well, it's more than just a clip show. Fellow officers of John and Ponch recall some of their exploits after the two are nominated for a prestigious award. So it might be clip shows and like created. I remember when John saved that kitten and then they show him.
Now you were a Chips guy. Were there a regular rotation of other officers, or were they just literally like bringing in?
Yeah, you had like the sergeant they all reported to and a couple other guys, but they were all very peripheral characters.
But you're not getting like 7 deep on that, right? They're bringing in.
No.
Yeah,
gotcha. It's not like a Hill Street Blues depth chart. Okay. No, not at all. Maybe 4, maybe.
I am. We talked about it like a couple episodes ago, and clip shows are all the rage. It seems like on what else is on. They can't do one as a new episode, right? For Love Boat, they just can't. I guess they can, but I'm concerned that they are. So
I'm just wondering, like the strategy. We saw that Jeffersons had one a few weeks back. My thought on this is, I'm fine with the clip show if you either do it after like each season, after the finale, as a way to look back on the season, or a way to like drum up interest in the new season, like something like that. Like I get that. But I don't think that you could do there'd be no context for the clip. You know what I mean? I really hope that they don't.
I would be okay with one in the run of the show because I would be curious to see how they did it.
How far along would it have to be? Like how much content would they have to have?
I mean, you would have to make it more like themed than I remember when Stubing did this. It would have to be more about remember all the great musical performances we've had here, or remember all those classic romances. Like it would have to be something like that. Wouldn't be good because there's nothing in this show is good except for the music. Nothing is good that fast, right? You do need the context.
No, I agree. I
So
agree. I agree.
maybe Billy Crystal, like something
Maybe.
like that. Maybe, but
He was great. So that's what else is on this evening.
do you
Let's get
think
down.
that
What's that?
I
Hmm.
did intend to look, but it's a heavy lift. Do you think that we're now off basically till mid-September? Do you think the Love Boat reruns are on the whole summer? Or do you
Oh,
think they
I
like
would
go in and out? I do
I would
wonder.
think the majority of I bet you the majority of the Saturdays, just because of
Yeah.
the ratings, and you
Yeah.
don't really get the chance to see an episode twice unless they probably rerun the whole
The
in
whole gamut.
sequence, depending on how many
Yeah.
weeks, and then end up on that, and then it's time for, because it's what, 52 weeks. So if you have
Yeah.
26 episodes, you can sort of do it where it's half the year and then play
And
then
and I think
repeat.
we've kind of determined, at least the last couple times we've gone back and looked, they have always been Love Boat reruns in place of
Yeah.
the Love Boat new. So maybe.
I mean, it
Wonder what
was a
the
strong
last
show
I wonder if this episode will be the last episode of reruns
before the
before
new.
we will check that
That'd
next
be
season.
interesting. See,
So
I would do the last, and then if there was a week, do a clip show then.
yeah, that's smart. Almost
Maybe a
like those
preview or something.
those Saturday morning cartoon
Yes.
previews used to be. Yeah.
Those were the best. Oh, I
Yep.
used to love those.
And that was always like, how the hell is Rudy Huxtable hanging out with
What is going
a
on?
second kid from NBC's lineup? Punky Brewster, I think,
Yeah,
maybe.
how are they friends?
Yeah. New
Punky.
York. Yeah. Okay.
Episode synopsis. These are always interesting. Again, these are IMDb episode synopsis. Bob's second wife, Lee, tries to win his daughter's acceptance. Gopher's dad feels left out when he and mother Roz board for a Mother's Day cruise. Older woman Maggie, that's real nice, with grown kids, worries what husband Mac will say about her pregnancy. Older woman
Spoiler.
Maggie. Yeah,
Spoiler,
no kidding.
IMDb.
No
Jeez.
kidding. Well,
I
Brickley's
didn't
going to
read
spoil
that.
it
So
anyway.
I was not spoiled. So I thought she was dying. So
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, there's always
from her I thought she was dying of freeze tag. She would just kind of like
just
for a
of dying of
second.
nausea. Don't bring up, chicken and chocolate in the same sentence, God
Oh
forbid.
God, another horrendous chicken meal this season. What is going on?
I don't know. This is the second time we've seen that terrible chicken dish. Guest stars this week, the lovely Sir Ken Berry. I'm kidding about the Sir, as Robert Noble. Star of F Troop, Mayberry RFD. I knew him best on Mama's Family from 1983 to 1990. This is his only appearance on the Love Boat.
Yeah, this was definitely the most quote unquote acting I've ever seen Ken Berry do, and
This,
probably better that he went to the Mama's Family. So
yeah, it's better. There's a reason why this was his only appearance. I'm sorry,
yeah,
Ken Berry.
yeah.
It pains me to
The
say that,
Nobles,
but
the Nobles was not a description of the acting in that
no,
story.
no,
So,
no, 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 no. Absence of nobles. Yeah, it was. Well, we'll get there. Robert Cummings as Elliot Smith, who I will refer to from here on out as Gopher Senior. He has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Mike. The American one. Still waiting on that Canadian location.
I know where that
Uh,
one is.
one for his contributions to television, one for movies. He appeared in movies starting in 1933. This was actually his only Love Boat appearance as well, and this was actually his last acting job.
Yeah, he was like, "I'm done." After
And
this
I am
I've
done.
done
In
it
fact,
all.
it said in, and they said cut, and he jumped overboard. No, Robert Cummings did not jump overboard.
I was not familiar, and when you get to Gopher's mom, you're like, oh, you would think they would have a
Yeah,
powerhouse father, and then I think he had way more bona fides than I was familiar with.
he wasn't
I
as
I
familiar with me either. You know what I
I
mean?
did
He
a
wasn't.
little YouTubing because I was
Yeah,
like, is this performance kind of his bit? Because he does have a very specific way of talking, and he's just very like Gova. It's just very like
it's a very
so. I
showy, sunny boy performance, right?
Yeah, I found a clip of his TV show. It was just like We
I think it
Love
was the
Bob.
Robert Cummings show.
Well,
He had
there was
one of
that one,
those
and
too.
he
Yeah,
had two basically. But anyway, so it's not quite like his total bit, but he's got like a bit of a pitter patter and stuff like
sure,
that.
sure.
And I will say this, having watched it twice, both times, in the beginning I'm like, oh, this is weird. But by the end, I was like, I
didn't mind it at the end. I thought it was kind of
we will
charming at the end.
we will
You
get
know?
to it in terms of I don't think you could have done a better job of portraying a character's parents based on
Hmm.
50 episodes of us seeing the character.
I have to say that. Well, we'll get to it too, but I really enjoyed Robert Cummings. I thought he did a
Yeah.
really good job
He
in this
snuck up on
episode.
me. He
He
really
really
snuck
did.
up on me.
He
Yeah.
did. He was great. Next is Nanette Fabry as Maggie O'Brien. We met her last year on episode 14 of season 1. I don't know if you remember that.
Mitzi.
Yes.
Yep.
Served as Sid Caesar's comedic partner on Caesar's Hour. She won 3 Emmys for that. She also played Christine's mom on the
Yep.
show Coach, which
That's where
I knew her from.
Yeah, that's where I knew her from originally. Yeah.
And we'll see her again in season 5.
Good. She was good.
She was great.
She was good in the first year. She was good this year. So.
Beth Howland as Lee Noble, who I will refer to as Vera in this episode.
I had to look up her actual name in the episode because
I did too. I kept writing Vera, and I was like, well, screw it. I'm just gonna. 9 seasons of Alice, 202 episodes.
Is there anyone? I don't know how you would even answer this. Is there anyone?
I think I know where you're going. Yeah.
Who you think of more? If you say Beth Howland, if you say Vera, I immediately think of one clip from the opening credits of Alice, and that is the straw thing where she just throws the straws, and it's like that is what I think of her. I know I've seen Alice episodes, but that's all I remember is the straw bit.
I wonder if like a Vic Tayback would be the same thing.
Like in
is
the
he
car.
just always Mel? You know what I mean?
I'm not saying typecast as the character. I'm saying typecast in my brain as the 2-second clip from the credits.
So. Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, it's kind of. I just see her as Vera the whole way. Her facial expressions, that weird nervousness that Vera always had. Like,
so
again, I thought she was great.
I found an interesting fact about her that I did not know today. She was married in the 60s and then had a divorce. Her second husband, who she took on later in life until she passed away in like the mid 2010s, Charles Kimbrough, who was Jim Dial on Murphy Brown.
Oh, wow. Oh,
talk about an interesting couple.
Yeah, that's
yeah, that was news to me.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is a weird well,
I'm sure they weren't really like they were as their characters, but thinking of Vera and Jim Dial together is
dingbat, and that beautiful voice is. I
don't know, Murphy.
Also, last note about Beth Howland. Excuse me. We'll see her again in a season 5 2-parter, and then again in a season 6 2-parter.
I'm really worried about these 2-parters. There's a lot of 2-parters on the horizon.
Thick. They got carried away with the 2-parters. Like, there's no just slow your roll.
Well, it's the problem that we are running into is that this show is very popular right now. I imagine we will not have as many 2-parters towards the end when the show is not as popular. So.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
We have, let's see, Ethel Merman as Roz Smith. Interesting. She's going to play the same character, Roz Smith, again in season 3, and then in two 2-part episodes in season 5.
Oh, excellent.
Great.
Oh, I did not know that. That's great.
And I like it's the same character, so
yeah, good.
That's kind of cool. 2-time Tony winner, Golden Globe winner, Grammy winner, big star, Mike. Appeared on television from 1949 to 82. Appeared on Broadway 1930 to 1977. Big star.
And another Airplane alum.
Good catch. Good call. Barry Nelson is Mac O'Brien. Not much out there. Only appearance on Love Boat. Not much else.
Mac O'Brien, one of my favorite characters we've had all season.
I like Mac O'Brien.
He was great. That guy was way too good for this episode of television.
They wasted material. He's like, "This is all you want me to do?" Like,
yeah, because you know what he did after this? Do you know where he went when he got off the boat?
No.
He went to go film a little movie you might have heard of called The Shining.
Oh, well, this is great. You
He
know,
is he is Ullman, who is the guy at the beginning of the movie that hires Jack
oh my
Nicholson.
gosh, I didn't even put
I
that together.
I went back and watched the whole opening scene because I was like, I gotta see it.
Oh, I haven't seen that in
As
so
soon
long.
as I saw him, I was like, I know him from something. What is it? And I couldn't place it, And I saw that it was The Shining. And he's just so good. That is such a better scene than you remember because it's not
That
really the
movie.
movie, but it is.
Yeah, but it
He's the one
is,
who
but you
tells
don't.
Jack Nicholson about the guy who went nuts and killed his family and all that stuff. And it's just,
He's Scatman in that movie too. That's
that's
two
right.
alumni in that movie.
That's probably going to be it. Shelley
I can't
Duvall.
imagine Shelley Duvall on the ship. There's no way. Be great if Jack showed up, but
I mean,
you know,
Jack's not showing up.
yeah, Jack's not
I
showing
guess
up.
there's like a 5% chance Shelley Duvall could end up on here.
Oof. Maybe doing a PR for like her role in Popeye, maybe some
Who is
lean.
the most surprising to be on the show this year? Do you think it's hard? It's hard for us because of the context of not watching it.
I think
Why?
Ethel Merman, to be honest with you, is one of the bigger ones. Just if we're talking about I mean,
Yeah,
she was a big star. And I don't know if surprise.
yeah. It's
I'd have
hard because,
to.
like, I would say I was shocked that Dabney Coleman was on this, but at the time he wasn't
Yeah, he wasn't Dabney
Dabney
Coleman yet.
Coleman, right?
When
So
Leslie
it's like,
Nielsen wasn't Leslie Nielsen,
right.
you
Billy
know?
Crystal was on TV,
Right,
so
they
it made
weren't.
sense that he's yeah.
Yeah,
So it's hard. I think surprise for me would end up being somebody who's more of a movie person.
that makes
Um,
sense. Yeah.
but I don't know who that would have been this season, necessarily.
Potential Kernsings happening this week.
No,
Michelle
they hate
Tobin.
kids.
Yeah. Mary
They really hate.
Noble, no porthole. Shelley Jutner as Judy Noble, no porthole. Not much about Shelley Jutner as Judy, but we will see Michelle Tobin, who played Mary Noble, again in season 6. I thought that was kind of Kernsing. I mean, they had legit speaking lines.
They just don't
Will they run
count
out
the
of portals this
kids.
week? I
They
guess
just
not.
don't think about it. Like most of the Kernsing has been kids,
Yeah.
unless it's like
Unless it's Scott Baio's brother
or
or
like
something like that.
Billy the Liar. I think got a
James
portal.
Bond Jr. or
He
something
didn't
like
get
that.
one.
Oh, that's an
Yeah,
egregious Kernsing. That guy
yeah.
was a star.
There have been very few kids. Melissa Gilbert and Jimmy Baio, I think, got
Yeah.
portals, but it's not automatic.
Let's see. Any other housekeeping before we get on the boat, sir?
R.I.P. Anderson. I really could have used Anderson this week.
Would have been nice. It would have been nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get on the boat, Mike. Here we are. Enter Mac, Maggie, and Mac's hair. Oh my God. Doc tells him where the honeymoon suite is. Doc introduces himself and welcomes them to a Mother's Day cruise, even though they're like, "We're here for the honeymoon suite. Welcome to the." Which I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
Uh, Mac wants to see every brochure the ship has available. He's very excited about traveling. Doc points to the collection, and Mac is off.
These guys love a brochure. Not since Joyce Brothers has anyone been so excited about a stack of brochures.
He loves shiny paperwork. Uh, Doc checks the cabin assignment for Maggie. Uh-oh, Mike. Somebody's not feeling well on this episode of Bricker. She says it's just all the excitement. Now there is no doubt in my mind that Adam Bricker has not already diagnosed this woman as being pregnant already, just like that. His magic. He's like, okay, she's pregnant.
Yeah, the problem is with Doc, he's the cause and the cure.
Oh man, he just touches the litmus to his skin. I am.
If you're not pregnant yet, you will be.
You will be. Take another test, girl. Mac returns and he says, "Stop flirting with the help, Maggie May."
I love him calling her Maggie May the whole episode.
Yeah, I like that too.
There was such a. These guys love each other, but they've known each other for so long that they have the little nicknames and everything. It was just fantastic.
This couple's the opposite of the couple, Vinny Del Risi.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
Mac is the opposite of Vinny Del Risi.
Yes, fair. That is a fair statement. So
And the hair. Uh, so Doc watches him walk away, and I put the note here. I'm like, Doc has already diagnosed her. He's just trying to figure out how and when to tell her husband that she's pregnant at this point. How am I going to tell and break the news to him? Because that's how they did it in the 70s. Please welcome the Noble family to the boat.
Boo.
Boo. Boo. Julie looks up their cabin numbers. Aloha 355 and 357 adjoining rooms. Oh boy. For your father and mother. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
That's
weird.
not our
Weird move.
Yeah,
Julie.
why wouldn't you just
Yeah.
Julie's full of weird crap in this. Like
Julie, like, come on, you know better. Like, you don't say, "Are you pregnant?" You don't say, "Come on, Julie."
yeah,
That's a
I don't
rookie
what you
mistake.
don't know you don't even know who these people are. Like stop.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's all distracted by her flute solo coming up.
well, she's nervous. You heard of slow sax. This week we have slow flute. Was that supposed to be a talent contest? Is that what that was supposed to be?
I mean, it was kind of a talent contest, but
And why did it take all these episodes for us to know that Julie played the flute? I didn't even know she's
yeah,
such a flautist.
we got a lot of specific information about the crew this week,
Weird.
but I don't need any of it. Like,
No, completely unnecessary. Yeah, so Julie says, for your father and mother, and one of the nameless noble girls says, "That's not our mother." All right, Mike, let me just hold on. Time out.
you
Okay.
bitches.
We are 3 minutes and 33 seconds into this episode. And this girl, these noble daughters, this one is it's just a bitch. I'm like, you're coming in this hot. We're not even 5 minutes in.
What was
It's
that
just gonna get
car
worse.
ride like?
Oh, but okay. Yeah, so Robert Noble says Mary, and I go, okay, we now know the shorter Noble's daughter name. And I said, we also know that Robert Noble is a bit of a walkover.
Yeah.
Right? Automatically, you can already see this. Vera, why don't you kids go explore the ship while we unpack? And then Julie takes the two daughters to go explore the ship. And I'm like, what? Aren't you checking people in? What are you doing? Like now
because Julie was like, "Oh, I put my foot in my mouth. I am out of here." So,
you know, you girls need some flute down by the pool.
yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
I would love to know, and based on scenes we have later, I don't think that Ken Barry, not only is he a walkover, he's just kind of I'm just going to go through life and see where things end up.
Yeah.
So,
like he walks straight until he runs into something, then he makes an adjustment.
like,
It's just kind of.
This is a
Why would you bring these
ballsy
girls
move.
Why would you bring her on a
Okay,
Mother's
they don't
Day
want to be
cruise?
there.
Come on, Ken Barry.
They don't want to be there. Now you're stuck. Is this like immersion therapy, Ken Barry? Like, come on.
Well, so the girls walk away, and Vera tells Bob to give them some time. Vera tells Bob, sorry, to give them some time. They've only been married for a month, and now I'm like, hold on, you've been married for a month, and you're essentially newlyweds, and you force your daughters essentially. I say, why are these girls on a cruise?
I mean, these girls are 16, 17 years old.
There's no reason.
Yeah.
Well, it's just this sort of didn't make a lot of sense to me, but okay, we'll go with it, right? Why not? Vera's on here.
I had bad feelings immediately with that storyline.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I was proven correct.
Yeah, well, because they're trying to lay this like foundation, but the more I'm like, what?
Yeah.
This makes no sense, but
No.
Okay. We'll just roll with it for now. Uh-oh, Gopher's mom has arrived, and boy, she kicks the door right in.
Hello, Frisco.
Jeez. Enter Steubing, who waits for his introduction. Ew. So late. He just. Oh, come on, man.
What? He just wants to meet. He just wants to meet his. He doesn't mention to Gopher's parents the whole time that he had his son killed in episode 1 this season.
I'm so sorry. I almost crushed your son with a palm tree. I'm
to make
sorry
sure it
about
wasn't
that.
raining.
And then he might have gotten killed dressed up as me to try to lure people to murder him instead of me. Sorry about that too. Like,
Sorry,
you
sorry about the
suck,
mess.
Stubing. You're terrible at
Uh,
looking out for
sorry.
people. Um, yeah. Gopher asks, "Where's Dad?" They say he's getting his luggage, and we meet Elliot Smith, Gopher's
Awesome.
dad, Gopher Senior.
Yeah.
This cruise was a gift from Gopher, and Gopher's mom do some weird crouched over Groucho impression.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the look on Gopher Senior's face was like a mixture of embarrassment and indifference. He just looked
Oh,
like,
hello, Burl. Good
yeah,
to
he's just
see you,
good.
Burl.
He's just he's replaying a baseball game on the radio that he listened on the way here. Just I don't want to
he
be
um
here.
he kind of, especially in the first half, reminded me of if you had aged 20 years, the Charlie in the Box from the Island of Misfit Toys. That was
I
kind
like
of the voice he was going with.
that's
So
funny. That's funny.
I'm a
He
Charlie in the Box. It's
it
like a lot of that. So.
it was weird. Like I
But
know
it
it
was
was
supposed to
purposely
be
weird.
weird, and
Yeah,
I
it was
think that's
supposed to
the
be weird.
thing.
Yeah, and
And I
that's
think I wasn't expecting in 1979 for them to go weird like that, but
no,
it
I
makes
didn't either.
perfect sense.
Well, it was just such a setup for that comeback, if you will. At the end to sort of
But
it was really
but
well done.
not just that. Like Gopher is a weird kid,
Yeah, he's a weird
right?
kid.
But it's
Well, now
like
you kind of get it a little more
exactly
because his
and
mom's a fucking, pardon me, a lunatic, and his
right
dad is like just trying to deal
reserved.
with it.
Right.
Like,
And the thing it really shows, and we can talk about it later if you want,
yeah,
is I think I said this a long time ago. His relationship with Steubing makes so much more sense through the prism of this weird relationship he has with his father.
it's funny you say that because I was thinking that I was watching. I'm like, okay, I kind of get things a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
or the way he sort of kowtows and that sort of thing, based
He's
on
always like trying to weirdly please him, and it is more
right.
of a yeah. No, I mean, I again give him a
Elliot
ton
Smith
of
is a
credit.
stoic
This was
man.
a well crafted. They have nailed. So we're done with
Family
parents now.
members, yeah, family
We are
members were
done with
great.
parents. Isaac mentions in this episode that his father had died. Steubing's mother is dead. Doc's parents are dead.
Yeah.
So we're done,
Oh yeah.
right? We got Julie's 2. We got
Well, because
Gopher's
Vicky's
2. We got
mom is
Isaac's
not
mom. We got
alive.
Steubing's dad.
That's it.
That's it. So they went
Wow.
4 for 6.
I thought the casting was great. If you
Yeah.
look at, I mean, Stubby speaks for
But
itself.
but this is why I don't understand how you miss so bad with Julie's parents. How do you hit so well on Gopher's parents?
I do agree. I do think a lot of that. Maybe it's not fair to say a lot of that. I'd say a decent amount of that is the effort put into that role that was played. I
I
think it took a
agree.
lot away, but
I But
he
as we
wasn't the
said at
right
the
guy for the
time,
role anyway. You know what I
they
mean?
didn't give him a lot to do
No,
either.
they didn't give him a lot. They didn't.
Um,
I think he was either miscast or maybe he could have given a little more to
yeah,
kind
I
of,
think he could have
broaden
made
that
it
role.
better, but I don't
Sure.
think. Yeah,
I
I
just think he cared.
I think I think it ended up becoming, as we kind of are looking at the season in review now, it did kind of become a harbinger of the Julie season in
Yeah.
that they lost their way with Julie, and not in a Julie's crazy or what. They just, if it wasn't a Julie centered episode, she just kind of fell into the background the way Gopher and Isaac did. And that was not how it was last season. And
No.
it seems like
No.
they did her a disservice,
And it's
starting with
funny
the
you say
parents
that.
episode, honestly.
I agree. And sort of to piggyback off what you're saying, I think that there was an overuse of Steubing at the expense of some of the other cast members this year. I
Yeah.
joked a couple episodes like, oh, this episode's called Where's Isaac? I'll
Yeah.
say it again in this episode. They don't give him anything. They
No.
give him a few lines here. He pours a couple drinks. Here's a $3 bill joke. Like nothing.
And I
And
don't understand.
granted, it's a Gopher episode, but
But
it's just an example of it.
it didn't feel like that last year,
No, it felt more
where at
like
least they were sharing the
it
ball a
was,
little more.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But now,
So,
like even, well, let me ask you. You know, at this point, well, I can't say it because I don't want to ruin the stubby, but
It's
you
the
almost have to
no,
take some
that's
of the
what
people out. That's the rough
it's
part because
it's what made me think about Julie's arc this season is working on the rankings. And I think Julie's going to end up a lot lower than I probably expect her to. And it's
yeah,
not her fault
no,
necessarily.
no,
So,
no. I
and I
mean,
just
we
don't
don't know if
understand.
anything if things were starting to get weird at this point.
And
We
I
don't
guess
know
that's
that
always
either. Who
right. I
knows?
guess that's possible. And I brought it up for the episode a couple weeks ago where Julie did all the little things really well. She wasn't in
Yeah.
it a lot, but it was the one with the murder mystery where she's like throwing the book at the
Oh,
end
she
and
was good. Yeah, yeah. The
she's good
timing was
at it,
good.
but
Yeah.
it just feels like we always say like the first season she was like the heart of the show, and now they have clearly tried to make Steubing the heart of the show, and I do think it's a choice that probably isn't the right choice.
Well, I mean, they introduce her at the end. She's the last person. She's like, and
Yeah.
to me, that was the indication that like it's not Julie's show, but it's sort of Julie focused in that way, or she's the conduit, or something. She's the running theme. Remember how like she was the heart and soul of the show last year, but this year, you can't, like you're saying, it's not. I don't think it's Steubing, but I couldn't say who it is this season.
Well, and I think they tried to be more guest heavy this year, and maybe that's where the show ends up going, right? Maybe last year it
Maybe,
was a little more
maybe.
crew heavy because it was new and all that stuff. Who knows? I also think we don't know exactly the context of the whole Vicky thing, but is
That's
this
true.
a cause of their plans to bring Vicky in? Is this a result of they were running out of ideas for Julie already, so we got to bring another female in? Like it's probably a lot a result of all bunch of white guys
Oh,
writing television.
oh, yeah. It was how do we stay on top?
You
How
know,
do we come from 14
yeah.
million to 18 million? It was probably
But I I think the disservice to Julie as a character this year, not in the way that I think we thought last year, where they made her crazy,
yeah,
man crazy sometimes. It was just kind of putting her into the, oh, Julie's friends on the boat this week. So now she can be the sidekick for 5 minutes. And it's
right.
like,
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. I mean, she's going to lead off season 2 with that big Alaska cruise, and let's
season
see,
3, sir. Season
season 3. What am
3.
I talking
Yes.
about?
Yes.
So we hear the boat horn. It's time to set sail. No ticker tape shop this week, Mike.
Now, pretty slow overhead
Very
departing.
slow over.
Yeah. So.
We're poolside with Mac and Maggie. Mac is saying how wonderful this cruise is, and this is what I thought was weird. So he's sitting poolside with dress pants and like dress shoes on. And this is just me. If I'm getting on a cruise, and you're wearing dress pants to get on there, wouldn't you just put on some like something you'd wear like around a
Because he
pool,
changed
even
his
if you weren't going, or
he definitely changed his
shorts?
shirt.
Yeah, but he's
Yeah. And
wearing wool pants and like,
that is an older man's game. And I feel like my
yes.
grandfather did a version of that. So that might have just been of a time. But
Maybe
yeah,
there were summer pants, like thin pants that
there
was
must have been. Or he didn't know any better.
I
I
just
mean, they
can't
weren't wearing
imagine.
sunglasses. Poor Maggie's
It's
having
true. Blind as a
having brain
bat.
aneurysms and she's staring right into
She
the
wants to
sun.
throw up and she can't see anything. Maggie's saying how she wished that Joanne was on the cruise with them, and Mac is not having that. He's like, hell no. He's so excited that the last of their children are in college. And he leaves to go see where the shuffleboard tournament is being played.
Hey, Mac, I love you, babe, but it's probably being played on the shuffleboard.
Yeah, it could be. Look for that big triangle.
Yeah.
And I wrote, good thing it's not a windy cruise, or Mac's hair would be floating somewhere in the Pacific Ocean.
Maybe that's why he wears dress pants and dress shoes.
What, to
Because
hide the
his
chin
hat
strap?
serves like a babushka. It's like it's keeping all the heat.
Oh. Uh-oh. Maggie doesn't look like she feels well. Here's Bricker lurking, looking for
Out of
anybody with
nowhere.
symptoms. Somebody needs me. He doesn't have a beeper. He just senses sickness.
Yep.
Sits down to Maggie, asks if she's okay. He asks to examine her. Settle down, Doc. She agrees, but asks that Doc not tell her husband. So
He also says, "I'll do it in a half hour." Like, is
yeah,
this an emergency?
Yeah, meet me in the office in 30 minutes. I need
I
to
got
get a
a
quick 20 power nap and a couple of shots of
I
espresso.
got a date.
What are you doing in 30 minutes? I got a tuna salad on wheat waiting for me. What are you doing for 30 minutes? No doctor's been like, come see me in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, you're sitting
I'm
right
not
next to me.
I'm so busy that I could just lurk around waiting for you to get sick. But
Yeah, I need to lurk for at least another 28 minutes, and it takes me 2 minutes to walk to my office. Very strange answer.
weird episode of Bricker.
Weird episode of Brew. We don't know where this one's going. Apparently, it's going into his office in 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Uh, it's like that pizza. Remember that old Domino's, 30 minutes or less. Boy, I
Yep.
remember watching that clock. I'd be like, it's been 23 minutes. He's not gonna make it. And he would always make it.
Always made it. They just sit
Um,
outside.
Make you
Making
sweat it
dramatic.
out.
Yep.
Stubing and Gopher's dad are sitting poolside. Nothing to do, huh, Stubing? But it does look like Stubing's drinking a soda, whereas Gopher Senior did look like he was drinking an adult beverage.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping an eye on that.
Now, did you notice the first of what was a long litany of accurate continuity in this scene to start it off?
Talk to me. What are we talking about here?
Stubing is talking to Gopher's dad, and he starts out with, we clearly joined mid-story or towards the end of the story, and he's like, so you can imagine how surprised I was when I found out that it was Reggie Jackson. Callback.
Oh, I missed that. Oh, I really would have
Episode
liked
44. We don't ask for much, guys. We don't ask for much.
that. That's all it
is
takes. That's wonderful.
perfect. Because you know what? I saw that episode a few weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I like that. It's almost like a little reward.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's a couple other ones like that. One specifically Gopher's family related, but it's not hard, guys. It's not hard.
That's pretty awesome. Gopher walks up and joins him, asks his dad if he's enjoying the cruise so far. Gopher tells his dad not to worry about his business, and Gopher's dad says the business is fine. And then I was like, well, now I'm thinking, what? Business is fine. So now I'm like, is there a problem with the business? Is that why he's so stoic? But no.
Nope. Business never really gets mentioned in
No,
specifics.
it doesn't again. That's why I was like, oh.
Don't worry, Pearl. The business is fine.
Yeah. Enter Julie, asking Gopher what he'll do for the show. Gopher says, don't worry about Smith. In a very weird, like...
That whole exchange was weird, because then Julie seemed to be doing a bit with him, but then it kind of died out, so I don't know what happened there.
It was awkward. I couldn't understand. It was weird. And I wrote that weird answer. Stubing, don't tell me that the chef is going to play his tribute to Elvis on the spoons again. Hey, Meryl, we don't need another chef strike, okay? Ixnay on the F-shay.
You go through chefs like you go through white
donuts,
socks, my friend.
Knee socks. Like you go through white knee socks. Good Lord.
You and Michael Cooper.
Bob and Vera Noble are sitting on the side of the pool, again, in pants. And Vera's butt is wet. She's sitting on the side of the deck of the pool.
Yeah. Like
what?
Get out of the way. I'm trying to use the pool.
This is where people swim. Like there's water. What do you
write
there's chairs.
Yeah.
And they have food. They're like, what is it? What is this? That's not where you eat.
Can you imagine you're like swimming in the pool and you try to get out and you kind of are underwater and you swim up and there's fucking Vera's pants legs.
Yeah, like what are you doing? There's the shrimp cocktail floating by. Like, come on, guys.
There's a new girl in town and she's on the way out of the pool.
Like how is this the only pool? I know there's another pool. Maybe it's like a bug pool situation, but there has to be more places to sit.
That entire scene could have taken place on a deck chair. There was no reason for it to be
in the Acapulco Lounge or anywhere.
Or not at all.
Or not at all.
Not at all.
It really wasn't a big scene. They're joined by Bob's daughters. Mary, the mean noble, asked Bob for $5 to buy some postcards. Old cheap ass Bob thinks $5 is too much to spend on postcards, and gives her $2 instead. Yeah, like no shame, no, not gonna fool Bob. You know he must have gotten a hell of a deal on this cruise if he's penny pinching over postcards.
Yeah.
Ugh. Judy Noble, her bathing suit strap is broken. Vera goes to fix it. Nope. Judy says not having it. She pretty much smacks Vera's hand and she's like, I'll do it myself. My observation at this point was Mary isn't the only mean noble. We got
No,
two mean noble
no,
girls.
no. They're
They're the
like,
same.
what? So they've been married for a month.
A
I don't
month.
think it
How
doesn't
long did they
sound
date
like Ken
for?
Berry was like really including the girls in the
He
conversations
eloped.
before he proposed.
Yeah, he was
Um,
hiding because
but
Bob
like
isn't.
you knew this wasn't going to go well, Bob.
And
So-
you created a situation where like no one can leave. Like really,
yeah,
where are you gonna go? Like
right, exactly. Yeah.
that's just.
Except you know
Uh,
who leaves a lot in this episode is Ken Berry. He just leaves all the time.
he disappears for hours,
Yeah,
a
what
whole
is he? Friggin'
day.
Bobby what's his name?
Oh, well, he's probably got a lot of ship to shore because of the.
Yeah,
Well, I don't even know what
Phil,
Phil.
the guy that tried to hire Gopher.
I
Yeah.
know you're talking about. Uh, Bob isn't having any of this and tells Judy to apologize to Vera. Does she apologize? No. And
Hells no.
hells no. And those bitchy noble girls leave the pool. And Vera
Stow
says
it,
to Bob,
dingbat.
"Yeah, get out of here." Vera tells Bob that he can't make them like her, and he apologizes for how tough this is on Vera. Hey Bob, why don't you grow a pair, man? For real.
Well, and
Why aren't you taking them on a cruise,
this
idiot?
also begins Vera, who basically says one thing, does another,
Yep.
and then says a third thing the whole episode, where she's like preaching patience because it
But she
is
doesn't
an
even think
adjustment,
that.
but
Yeah.
she bails on the patience like almost immediately every time.
Yeah, she has zero patience. She's all over
It's
the
okay
place.
that you don't like me yet, but do you like me now?
Yeah.
So,
No, because I think you might be crazy, Vera.
yeah,
Just saying,
yeah,
you're putting off crazy energy.
yeah. Do you know how hot mom was?
Yeah. Oh, you are not. Look at us, then look at you. No, no. Back to the poolside
I could
table
have
with
married Polly
Steubing.
Holiday.
Right. Back to the poolside table with Steubing, Gopher, and Gopher's dad. Steubing's telling Gopher's dad about the cruise shows he has seen. Last year they had an engineer that did an impression of an anchor. How was it, Mike? It was heavy.
Heavy.
Heavy. Gopher's dad tells Steubing that when he and Roz were in college, they used to do a touching version of Sonny Boy. Gopher decides that, hey, I want to do Sonny Boy for the cruise show tomorrow night. And his dad, with the most hopeful look on his face, says, of course, it takes two people. Of course,
Yeah.
it takes two people. And Gopher asks his mom to do it. I felt so bad for Gopher's dad. I was like,
So yeah, the ultimate thing with this is that he came onto this cruise, Gopher's dad, to try and, I guess, establish somewhat of the bond that the mom has, but was just felled at every turn.
he couldn't do anything. Like he was
Yeah,
hinting with it. Gopher
you gotta be
tells his mom
direct.
what's that?
Gopher's pretty dumb. You gotta be direct.
Oh, he's kind of dumb and he's easily distracted, you know. So
Yeah,
he's probably,
yeah, yeah.
but
Maybe you know
it's
what,
but
Elliot, you should have slapped a big old poster of yourself on the wall. That would have
well,
helped.
maybe that's where his wife needed to have a little more awareness too.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I
Like
knew
she
you were
was
gonna think
just
that. I knew
just
you were gonna
nothing.
think that.
Like, I mean, because she's all, you know,
No, she's just being
I'm the
herself, Mike.
show, huh?
She's just being herself.
I mean, I
You're telling
guess.
me we will get to the scene that's
Yeah,
relevant to it, but I would assume that he talks to his mom a lot. Seems that way. I think if he was worried about her acting away in front of Steubing, he would have said something. They seem to have had that relationship.
I agree. I agree with
So
that.
that's all.
Yeah, it was weird. I felt bad for his dad. Uh, Gopher tells his mom they should rehearse, and she's like, no, 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 no. I don't need to rehearse. That's for rehearsing is for chumps, son. I don't do
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Gopher's dad asks Roz if she wants to go for a walk. Roz says, and give up showbiz? Later, honey, and leaves with Gopher. Double, double, double
Yep.
damn for Gopher
Almost,
Sr.
it's almost like he's a third wheel.
Almost. Maggie O'Brien, she's sitting in the waiting room of Doc's office. Doc pretty plainly says, you're not sick, but you're going to have a baby.
I have good news and good news.
Yeah. Maggie is shocked by this, and now she has to tell Mac, but he's planning a trip around the world. Eek. Ack.
So my wife was in the other room when I was watching this, and she popped her head in at one point, and she's like, how old is this woman supposed to be?
I was going to bring that up.
And I initially was like, mid to late 40s, maybe. No, she wasn't. So I don't know if this is what the character is, but it does add up with the math that she's 58, 59 in this, which is just wild. Good for you, Mac.
Whoa.
Hey, the boys still work at 60. Good for Mac.
I mean, it's very much a team effort here. You know, it's just, it's just shocking. You know, it really is shocking.
As someone who has one kid,
yeah,
my guess is after 6 kids, somebody's getting something tied.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's
maybe both. Maybe both.
Maybe just to make sure. Yeah, separate bedrooms, like the Ricardo family.
Well, no, I think it's awesome. As I said earlier, I think they are clearly in love. Like
they are in love. Yeah,
adorable. And God knows what a 60-year-old man in 1979 thought about safe sex. So
he's like, that's for sissies. Who needs that? What are you talking about? What? And we go to our first break. We're back. Julie's walking through the dining room, and the Happy Mother's Day sign makes an appearance.
Hey.
With Isaac standing next to it. Hey. And I saw Isaac standing next to a Happy Mother's Day sign, and I thought, God, Mike, do you remember when Isaac's mom smacked him?
Yep.
Calling him a swinger.
First violence ever on the show.
It was the best. Season 1, episode 14, A Trail of Toothbrushes. You can check us out in the archive.
Also, the one with Mitzi. So that's just right. A big episode all around.
That's right. Vera enters the dining room, and both of the mean noble girls make comments about her joining them for dinner without their dad.
Yeah.
God,
where are you at, Ken Berry?
Oh, he's on a business call. He's on a ship to shore.
They never establish what he does. He's a coward. And
he's on the phone with Mama.
This is this is where Vera didn't practice what she preached, because like, you know how this is going to go. Just wait.
Leave. You got to leave.
Just wait.
Just wait. Yeah, leave or don't go. You know what's going to happen.
Show up with Vinton.
This is a dingbat move. I'm just going to be honest.
It is a dingbat. Way to go, Dingy.
Move. Like, what did you think was going to happen? It's just going to be, they'll say Vera's desperately trying to have a conversation with them, and they tell Vera that they'll wait for their father to order because it's more fun to do that as a family. Oh God, these just the worst people.
Also, these people hate her so much they were like, nope, don't want any lobster.
No. Vera continues to try to talk to them, tells the noble girls that things can't go on like this. Tells the girls that she's not trying to replace their mother, but she wants to fit in. And those noble girls don't say a peep.
Exactly.
They don't say anything. They just sit there like they no-sell the whole thing.
These are mean girls, because it's one you could say your little zingers, but to say nothing is just, like that's a discipline.
They gave her just terrible. Vera's upset and says, "I thought it was worth a try." Oh, she says, "What do you want from me?" And the girls, yeah, I thought it was worth a try.
$12.
Oof. Hey, this is Bob's fault. This whole situation is Bob's fault.
It's
He's
Bob's
putting
fault.
her in a bad
Vera,
situation like
I,
daily.
I agree. Vera is also making it worse for herself.
Yeah.
And the kids are being mean, but they're 16 years old. So,
Well, Vera needs to settle
stifle
down
it.
and try to have some confidence. Like you're just coming across with like you have negative confidence level. Like
I just think you
relax.
got to let the game come to you in this
At
situation.
certain point is like, you know
Yeah.
what? Screw them.
Yeah. What changed between Judy smacking your hand off her when you
Yeah.
tried to sew
It's been
her
like 2
button?
hours. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So
We go back to Julie and Isaac at the dining room entrance. Here comes Gopher and his parents. His parents will be dining at the captain's table. Ooh, fancy.
unseen Captain Sable.
Unseen. If I didn't see it, yeah,
They already packed that baby away for the
it's
summer.
gone. It's coming back in season 3. Maybe they're gonna get a new table. They only
Well, it's an
rented it for.
Alaskan table. It's got king crab all
It's
over
gonna be
it.
awesome. A whole table made of
That'd be
seafood,
great. The
like a
first
Game of
shot is
Thrones
they
one. Just
throw the crab on the table.
be so awesome. Let me just say, if we don't see, like this week we saw that breakfast buffet, Mike. If we don't see some sort of seafood smorgasbord going on, I'm gonna be
Or
disappointed.
similarly,
Yeah,
I want to see people cold. I want
I
to
want to see
see
jackets.
hats.
I want to see
I
somebody's
want to see
breath.
Julie bust out that turtleneck from season 1.
Zero chance we're gonna see anybody's breath, but it will be
Oh
cold.
no, it's gonna be hot, unseasonably warm. Oh, it'll be the captain of the reef or whatever. It'll just be like it's unseasonably warm here in Alaska this week.
Oh, just want to see Steubing work a shift like on the Deadliest Catch crab boat, just to see him just eat it. Hey, greenhorn, I love to see that show. Isaac tells Gopher that his parents are a quote gas. Uh, Says that his dad seems like a really nice guy, and Gopher gets this weird
Yeah,
look, and Isaac says, "Do you
spotlight.
get along?" Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess." Is now the time to really isn't now the time to go? Yeah, no, it's good to see him or something. You're really gonna plant the unhappiness seeds now?
Is it now the time to work?
Uh, Like, how about you talk to him? I'll talk to you later about it,
Yeah.
or something. Or Isaac talks about losing his dad. Good Lord, Isaac, relax. Like he's like, whoa, you should have a relationship. Isaac's hitting the freaking the atomic button on this. Talks about losing his dad, how they used to hang out before he passed away. Like, whoa.
Listen, I could see Mother's Day bringing up emotions for Isaac, especially when Gopher's parents are there. I get that. I can see that at
Fair
least a
enough.
little bit
I wonder if his face stings a little when he sees that Mother's Day sign. Like,
every
wong,
time.
wong.
Well, don't call your mom a swinger.
Don't do it.
Happy Mother's
Uh,
Day, Mom.
yeah, duck. Uh, Gopher says that he and his dad didn't do much hanging out. Isaac says that's too bad. Gopher agrees and then says, maybe he didn't like me. I'm like,
And then we get like the first of many silent hard cuts this week.
I thought for
Like,
sure we were going to a break.
yeah,
I was
it's
like, this
just
has
like not a
got
lot
it.
of musical swells. Maybe they packed up the band too.
That's funny. That's funny. Uh, Mac and Maggie are at dinner, and here's that amazing dessert tray I was
Yeah.
mentioning. It's wheeled to their table. Mac is suggesting places for their next adventure. Shows her a pamphlet for Alaska, and then one for Trinidad and Tobago, and then one for just called Caribbean. I don't know what that is. It? Do you just want to see the water, or can you
Yeah.
be a little more
Yeah.
specific? Just
It's
Caribbean.
just a Jamaican jerk hut.
That's
So,
it. That's all it is. That's all. And never-ending cans of Schweppes ginger ale, like you're in the islands.
it's red stripe for days. So,
Uh, he's saying maybe they'll take a year off, take a trip around the world.
they must
Mac,
have money, right?
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Well, plus, if you have 6 kids, good Lord, you got to have some money. I
Or
don't
you
know
have
how
no
you,
money.
or well, Or maybe
Yeah.
he finally has money because now the last kid left. He's like, Eureka.
Yeah, Joanne's not going to a good college.
No, no, no.
So
No, no, no. There's the letters CC are at the end of that university. uh, uh, Mac makes a remark about how all the freedom they're going to have. He says he feels like a kid again. What could go wrong? And Maggie's about to tell Mac, like she's building up to it. Mac interrupts her and asks the waiter for the chocolate eclair.
yeah, he's been eyeing that baby up all day.
I have something to say about eclairs here in a second. I don't blame him. Maggie's trying to tell Mac, but instead she asks for his chocolate eclair. Mac says, why not? It's Mother's Day, and gives her the eclair.
And gives her a smooch. Once
And
again,
gives her a smooch.
there were
loves her.
so
He
many
loves her.
opportunities for this storyline to have some sort of, and I kept coming back to Robert Urich with Pepito, but there were so many opportunities for them to do a version of that, and they didn't, and it
No, it
was
was so much better.
great because guess what? Not everyone has to be like that. So
I completely agree. Quick shout out, Mike. Not a sponsor. Porto's in Burbank, California. Speaking of chocolate eclairs. So instead of chocolate icing on the top of their eclair, what's on the top, and they're known for this, it's coated in these little tiny chocolate curls. Amazing eclair if you're ever in Burbank, California. Not a sponsor. Porto's.
it does feel like a sponsor, though, to be fair.
Does.
Yeah.
Look me up. Just send me some eclairs. Doc is
I'm
standing.
not naming this thing Eclairs, just by the way.
Brought to you by Porto's Bakery. Doc, they're going to mail me an eclair if I say their name one more time before the end of the episode, so we'll see what happens. Doc is standing at the entrance of the Acapulco Lounge. Mac and Maggie enter the lounge. Mac says, oh, dancing is my life. Oh, come on. Not the first time we've seen that vibe this season. And Maggie wants to sit and talk instead of dancing. Boo, buzzkill Maggie, boo. Maggie goes.
If Maggie was a bit more of a buzzkill, she wouldn't be working on her 7th kid, to be fair.
That's true. She's like, I don't want to dance. You know what I'm on here for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do we, hello? We don't have time for dancing. Mac goes to get drinks, and now it's just Maggie and Doc. Maggie tells Doc she hasn't told him yet. He's having such a good time and making plans. I can't get a baby in edgewise.
Wah, wah.
Holy crap. Gopher and his mom are... I don't even know what this is or what they're doing. You've seen this season, Gopher and his disco antics are just ridiculous. And now it's 2 of them.
We also got, not only did we get disco, not heavy disco, but medium disco.
Sure.
But we also got a lot of references to disco. Vera mentions she went to college for disco.
Yeah.
I think the kids are looking to go to a disco. It was like everybody was getting their last shots in because I guess maybe by the beginning of season 3, disco's on the way out already.
Yeah. That's funny. Gopher's dad, it looks like he's trying to either turn invisible and or he's plotting an escape back to his cabin. He could not look more uncomfortable. Just sitting there. We see Isaac at the bar with Julie and Mac. Drink time, Mike. 2 Pacific Purple Passions. I did not find a drink the Pacific Purple Passion, but I did find a drink the Purple Passion. And based on the garnish of the drink, I think I have a pretty close match.
Okay, because I found some odd information, so I'll be curious to see what you had.
This is how to make Purple Passion. Grape juice from concentrate, cold water, vodka, lemon juice, sugar, and ice.
Wow, what a concoction. That sounds like just stuff you had left in your cabinet.
Yeah. I got some Welch's. I got some purple stuff. Like what? Cocktail onions. Yeah, I couldn't find much. I found some non-alcoholic drinks.
Yeah, that's kind of what I found too. There's it almost sounds like a Bartles and James situation, like in the mid 80s, but it's definitely not a real drink. whatever you found is probably the closest to an actual ingredient as it is.
Unless it was those things over ice.
I guess.
You
But
know,
yeah, not
but
a great way to end the season. I can't make that. And I can't make that purple stuff. I can't make that drink. So
I want to say I'd love to see him with a pitcher of the frozen like little cup sized like grape juice ice, with the wooden spoon. Imagine.
oh yeah. Yeah.
Again, have we seen him really make a drink this year other than pouring liquor in a glass? A more than one ingredient. 'Cause I
Probably
don't
not. If
think we
anything,
have.
Gopher and Doc made those grasshoppers, which
They're my
felt more
favorite
like
bartenders. Yeah,
right? It was like an actual they don't make drinks a lot.
but you just don't. And,
The
and
more
again, I go
interesting
back.
well, this is why he's not making drinks. He had to wear the short jacket to start dinner. Then he has to run and get changed into his gray jacket, his puke gray jacket. And then we know later he's going to have to get changed
Gonna be
and
in the cove. His
dress the
owl,
silk
super
owl.
owl. Yeah, that is true. It's almost like his job is costume changes instead of making or mixing drinks. You see him
What do you
serving
do?
drinks,
I
but
change jackets.
yeah, look at me. I'm an owl now. Can I get you a Pacific Purple Passion? Okay. Max sees the drinks and says, "What are they?" And Isaac, with his line of the week, says, $3 a piece.
Hey-o.
Oh. Bob and Vera are walking towards the cabins after a night of disco dancing.
Oh man.
Oh. They
Of all
move
the-
to a not so dark corner and start smooching, which, God, what were they? Were there for an hour? Like, why don't you go back to the
Dude,
room? What are you
you
doing?
have a room.
What are you doing?
You have every this is like making out in the doorway of a bar on the way home. Like this
Oh,
is,
like leaning against the bar. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, oh, what
yeah.
are you
You
doing?
guys are so hot and bothered. Like that was ridiculous.
Well,
That
what
was
do you think is going to happen? That was the thing.
right.
I'm like, come on.
Well, and again, this boat, they must have packed away the extras as well. It was very thin on extras because you should have had a couple other bodies like go through.
Making out, like all lined up.
Just anything. Just give. You know what?
Just
Give me an old person who's like, ugh.
yeah, or those two ladies. Remember they
Right.
were, yeah,
Oh,
the
the
harumph.
purse swingers? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just anything. But if you're going to PDA and no one's there, but you're in a very trafficked area, like, so.
Well, I just thought it was they moved to a corner that's just as well lit as the spot they were in before. Like,
Yeah.
go to your.
Go literally anywhere.
How far is this going to go? Like, what are you doing? Like, well, that's
That
what I'm
new
saying.
love, like-
If you're going to do this, right? I get that because you guys are newlyweds. You should be on your honeymoon by yourselves, not with your two bitchy daughters that are causing all this drama. Ugh. Back to the dance floor. Gopher and his mom are continuing their theatrics. She's got a flower from the table. It's in her mouth, and now her and Gopher now have that both of them have the flower in their mouth. Like, oh God, just poor Gopher Senior is just like, come on, like, oh God,
I
we're
ain't
in
great.
public. Just poor guy.
I think it's great.
It's funny. Dance is over. Gopher and his mom go back to their table to sit down. Gopher offers to get his mom a drink in a cowboy voice. I'll say this, Mike. It just never ends. Like,
It's a lot.
it just never ends. There's
It was
no
basically
real.
the manifestation of all those dream sequences with Haley Mills. Like,
Yes,
it was just
that's all it was. Like, he has
Yeah.
stopped. He has ceased communicating like a normal human.
Yeah.
Because he's doing it, and he just won't stop.
It's all
Oh,
bits. Yeah, but it was
there's
great.
so
Now
many bits.
I will say this. Now that you say that she's going to be on a few more times,
Yeah.
A, I'll be curious if that sticks. B, I'll be curious if they flesh that out more.
Oh, as to why? Like,
Well, not even
is this
why necessarily, but like, maybe one of them wants to be more serious and the other one's doing the bits, and
It would be
it's
better
like,
if she was the one to say be more serious, just to sort of counteract. Well,
well,
we'll see.
maybe
We'll
maybe
see.
old Pop doesn't make it to the boat. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, or Gopher Senior. Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah.
Let's hope he's just busy with the business. Uh,
Maybe he went pro with that Sunny Boy. So.
hey, he's
Your
in
father left
Tahoe
me.
now. Roz accepts in her best cowboy voice, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
she
she
asked
wants a
for a
little
little
guy.
moonshine in her sarsaparilla, but
Yeah,
I'm like,
so a
all
little
right,
sarsaparilla and whiskey, which the whiskey never comes, by the way.
no, no. And then again. It never ends, man. Then he walks like a weird cowboy walk, like crouched
Yeah.
over. There's a little gold here though too. Uh, he runs into Doc, and they do this cowboy thing. But here was the good part: is they did this funny, like choreographed, like double look at each other. That
Yep.
made me giggle. Like they just.
Well, we also actually get information out of it too. Doc confirms that he is in fact from Maryland, so he just didn't
That's
go to
right.
school there. As much as we thought he was from New York and went to Johns Hopkins, he is from Maryland. So,
Go
but
Terps.
Doc, great Doc, exasperated Doc line delivery is always great. Hi, Tex. I'm from Maryland.
He's the best. The Doc is he's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike. Here comes those angry nobles. They walk out on the deck and they see Bob and Vera making out. No kidding. Eh, Judy Noble says, "Well, excuse us."
Yeah.
That's not the line that got me. It's the next line. Mary
Oh, yeah.
says, "I never saw him kiss Mom like that." I'm like, "Oh my God."
So is it better that you didn't see him kiss Mom like that? Did you want like they
Just
hate this woman.
they hate
This
her.
woman.
Well, he's not really presenting Vera on a platter for them.
No.
We've
No.
been married for a month. Come on a cruise, and they're like, "Are you kidding me?"
Well, and let's be honest. At 16 years old, nobody, I don't care if it's your birth mom or your stepmom or
Yes.
a third option, like you don't want to see your parents making out. You
Mm-mm.
sure as hell don't want to see your dad making out with this woman who you hate that you think is trying to replace your dead mom in
Right, who just
the
died 2 months
dim
ago.
light of the stairwell, I guess.
Just underneath the nearest floodlight, like, against a
I was
white
trying to
background.
read I was trying to read
Oh,
the red sign behind them to see what it
it says
said.
"Do not smooch here." That's probably what it
Makeouts.
says.
No makeouts
No making
allowed.
out here. Beat it.
This is why everybody gets caught making out on the deck
Just go to your room.
because you try to smooch at the no makeout center.
Nope.
This is what
They'll
happens.
get you every time.
Yep.
Rules is rules. That's what I
This is
say.
whatever the anti Big Red is.
That's
So this is where those
exactly.
commercials came from.
Yep. Stop it. Take the gum out of your mouth. That's what it is. It's the Hard Candy Association of America. Stop with that gum. Put in a certs. Velements. All
Werther's.
those.
Sponsored by Werther's.
Yep. Like they were like the old territory system, the old breath mints. Gum took them over. It's ridiculous. After the comment, "I never saw him kiss Mom like that," Bob says, "Hold it. Uh-oh. Look out. Watch out, ladies and gentlemen. Screwed it, grab your furniture because Bob's PO'd now. All
Bob's going to
heck
be
is
a
going to break
parent
out."
for up to 3 minutes. So-
Maybe. Tells Vera that he'll meet her back in the cabin. He wants to talk to the girls.
Yeah, well, maybe you should have met her back in the cabin 5 minutes ago, Bob. You wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah, but wouldn't you want to say something in front of Vera, considering all the nonsense that's going on?
I don't think Bob knows what the hell he's doing. And
Bob's
I think he
idiots.
also knows that he was going to not really be bringing the heat when he talked to the
No.
girls either.
Bob stinks. And we're going to hear this phrase a couple more times in this episode. Bob tells the girls that it's time to have, here's the phrase, a little talk. You hear this a few more times in the episode, which I thought was kind of, I don't know why it jumped out. He tells the girls to knock it off. The girls say they weren't asked how they felt before he got married to Vera. Bob then grabs both of their ankles and dangles them over the side of the ship. That's not true.
He does say, though, it's like, oh, well, did I have to get your permission? I'm like, no, Bob, there's a middle in there somewhere.
Yeah,
right? Where you like talk to your adult teenage, I mean, 16's like pretty old to be able to have a conversation.
Well, and
a little bit.
16 is old to have the conversation, but it's also too young to have a vote. You know what I mean? That's what Bob is supposed to say. Like, it's not up to you. I didn't ask you because I don't care. Well,
But
he
you can't make them like her either.
no,
I
no.
mean,
He's putting Vera in these weird spots where she clearly doesn't know how to handle. Like, I think Vera's making it worse unintentionally. But
yeah.
having said that, Bob said he loved their mom, but she would want them to live on, but it doesn't mean you can't care about somebody else. And we've wrapped up that issue. That's a short talk about a big issue. Bob stinks
Th-
because it didn't,
this was
like,
this
that's
was
it.
like an attempt. This was an attempt at Ken Berry being a good actor. Like this was his Bert
It
Convy
failed.
speech out there, and it it did not land, my friend. So,
Really. It was almost like he was approaching it like the old Greg Brady talk, you know? When you save
yeah,
$1 now, you can have one later, one of those kind of like round talks.
yeah.
Nothing.
It's
You know,
it's just
he
funny
doesn't he didn't
because
come
we
across
haven't.
as a dad. I didn't get
No.
dad energy from him.
Well, and they didn't flesh that part out because they didn't have the time. But it's like,
No.
we don't know when old Meg died or whatever. But like a dad raising two adult girls is like, that's got to be hard, and teen girls or whatever. And so all that is an interesting piece of this that just didn't exist. So it made sense that he was getting run over. But that's where Vera being this wish-wash character made it worse.
Yeah.
If she had been a hard ass or a complete pushover, one or the other would have been interesting. But she was kind of like trying to do both, and they never had the conversation of, Bob, you know what? You're a little too easy on the girls. Like there was none of that either. So
Mm, yeah.
it was
Interesting.
interesting because I feel like this is one of the few examples we've had this season where I'm not saying it was the greatest script of all time, but this
No, no,
felt
no, no.
like Ken Berry was trying. He was trying to get there, and he just isn't a good enough actor to get there.
He wasn't.
And I think like
Unfortunately.
somebody who was a little bit better could have made this a little bit better.
I
So,
agree. I agree. It just would have had more depth. Because with
yeah,
Ken Berry, it's just,
yeah,
no offense, Ken.
yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, Ken. Gopher's mom and dad are at their table. Ross says, "Isn't this fun?" Gopher's dad says, "Don't you think you're overdoing it just a little bit?" Oh, here we go. All this clowning around is fine at home, but this is where Burl works. And that man over there is his
Burl.
boss. Stubing. She waves her flower at Stubing, and Stubing waves back like a dummy. He's so
Doink. She should have two
uh,
flowered saluted him.
oh god. She should have two. Oh, he does a few of those this episode too.
Oh yeah, yeah, he does.
Oh, um, I'm afraid you're embarrassing your son. Gopher Senior says. Ross puts the flower down, apologizes to Elliot, tells him that she got carried away. Gopher comes back. We're right back to like it's showtime with Gopher. Hey, I can balance this glass of sherry on my nose longer than you, and just like, oh, take a breath, man. It's so much. You know what I mean? It's just like an assault. Just chill.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It
Uh,
was definitely like it was an energy of a kid, like a 7-year-old when they get home. You've been away for a couple days and they want to tell you
yeah.
everything, and it's just like that's what the energy was like.
Ross says she's pooped. They better call it a night. And Gopher looks confused as to why they ended the evening so abruptly.
They
Okay.
left those full glasses of cocktails on the table too. Like,
Yeah, I don't know what.
what a waste of money.
Yeah, yeah. I think Roz was then embarrassed because he was embarrassed. It was just like, all right, we gotta go. We gotta go.
Well, it's that thing too where it's like, well, now I'm conscious of what I'm doing,
Right. That can't
So
be me because now I'm like in violation if I act like me because now I'm not
he
sure how to act like me
right.
without
He
being
could have
me.
had that conversation in the room afterwards. That could have been a
Oh,
tomorrow.
or on the way to the thing, be like, hey, can you not like act like an a-hole tonight? Can you just
Well, and
dial it down a
what
little bit?
like Elliot Smith spent a lot of time with Steubing that we saw. Like
Mm-hmm.
what in those conversations with Steubing made him think that Steubing is that guy that is going to be like judging Gopher on his mom's actions.
Oh, just lies. Steubing's just laying out lies. Yeah, and I was at D-Day. All these crazy things. I was the only one in shorts.
He was a D-Day. He was just
He was
way in the back. So.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that. Mac is in bed reading while Maggie gets ready for bed. Maggie brings up the first apartment they lived in when they first got married. Mac responds with a as he reads a book called The Bureau.
Mac is sleepy.
Mac is sleepy, and he's wearing his sleepy hat made of hair.
That is all
It's
Barry
fake.
Nelson's there.
You think?
Pure Nelson.
You think so? There's no way. It's so much hair.
I don't know.
Age,
it's hard to know in the 70s.
It's ash blonde. Come on.
It's what it looked like in The Shining. So, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
Well,
we'll never know.
We'll never know.
They don't put that in the IMDb.
No, unless we do the Mac project. Maggie says how having a child is the happiest thing a couple can do together. And she says it can happen to people of our age. She says, Mac, we're going to have a baby. Because she finally got it out. I wrote Mac and his hair are both asleep. She tells Sleepy Mac, you're going to need all the sleep you can get. Which I thought was sweet.
Sleep up now, you stupid bastard.
Yeah, you dumb bastard. You don't even know what's about to happen. You silly, silly man. It was nice. I thought it was a sweet thing she did. I like this couple a lot.
I like this couple.
They love each other.
These guys are probably going to show up on a nomination for me because I think this was maybe the best couple in terms of just no BS.
Nope.
They enjoyed each other's company, and after 6 kids, right? Like it wasn't like the kids and all that stuff. Like whatever empty nest, like that was all of it was perfect. Like in terms of that's who you want to be.
Well, it's interesting too is because you. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, and even the thing that's the secret. It's not some terrible, you know what I mean? It's not some terrible secret like he's on the run from the law or something crazy.
Yeah.
It was the way they handled it was the way I feel like a couple that loved each other would.
Yes.
Because there was humor and, so.
Yeah. And they handled it the way you would even if you were home. Like
exactly.
Just because you were on a boat, you wouldn't have acted the fool, right?
No.
So
we go to our second break. We're back. It's morning. Vera and Bob are leaving their cabin as the mean noble girls approach. Oh boy, here we go again. Judy says good morning to Vera, and she almost jumps out of her skin. She's so frightened. She didn't see that coming.
This was the extent of whatever Ken Berry told them the night before. She got one hello, basically.
She got one hello. That's it. The girls want to go to Puerto Vallarta in the afternoon, and they'd like to go by themselves. Yeah, hey, I'm 16 or 17. I'm going to assume we're 2 under 18, blonde Caucasian girls. We want to go to Mexico for the day to go.
It's like when your wife went to that bar down the street in your old neighborhood.
Oh, God. Oh, God. That was, where do you live? Oh, I live right down the street. Not good. Not good, that place. Bob's not sure. How's Bob not sure? How is Bob not a quick no on this? Because, again, Bobby's wishy-washy.
Bob's an easy yes if Vera's not there.
Bob's trying to buy votes for a later election at this point. It's just, Vera's the only one being honest here. Bob's, come on.
It's not the fight I want to fight today.
No, I'm banking this. No.
Because he went to bed last night thinking, well, solve that, Father of the Year. Thank you so much.
Lesson learned. Bob is the greatest dad. He's writing it down. Vera pipes in and says it's not a good idea to go by yourselves. Can't argue with that. And then all of a sudden, Bob wasn't sure, but now Bob's sure because Bob has the attention span of a goldfish. I agree with Vera, and says the girl shouldn't go alone. So now the girls are PO'd at Vera and Bob, and Vera says, "Now I feel like a parent."
So I think so. Here's where I kind of come back on like Vera being inconsistent, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying she wasn't right. Obviously, she was right based on how things went.
Right. Right.
But I feel like she asserted herself without being asked. Like, and this is where Bob, being a passenger in his own life, didn't help either because he probably should have said, "What do you think?" or something like that. She kind of did insert herself.
Well, considering I would think she'd be a bit more gun shy, given the reaction she gets from these bees, for her
This
to
is
just
not going
pipe
to
up and
help
go, "I don't think
you.
it's yeah."
Right.
Like she
Yeah,
would just not say anything. Like
exactly.
just
Like,
stay out of it.
and you know what? Talk to Bob sideways or something like that, and whatever. But it's like you are overstepping in a way. I don't know what a
Well,
dynamic
she
of a
wants to
step
overstep
parent is.
almost. Like
Yeah,
she's
this
so
this
desperate to be a parent that she'll do anything
right,
parent like,
right,
even if no
and
one's invited her.
right, and again, it's a weird dynamic, right? But these kids are close to adult age. You're you could have earned some points there,
Sure.
or
Well, maybe
not
I'm.
lost points by
Well, maybe
asserting yourself in
maybe
there.
we're wrong about the Noble Girls, right? Maybe we just don't know the whole thing. Where really this Bob's a bit of a D. You know
I
what I mean?
think
He
that's
brings his
very
receptionist.
possible.
He marries his receptionist. How long has that been going on?
He does. Is she the receptionist?
I don't know. In my fan fiction, she is. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot you were shipping the nobles. So-
Yeah. I'm shipping the Nobles. That's right. That's right. I don't know. I just think that this just tells me right here that Bob needs to
yeah,
think about it until Vera oversteps. Like what?
yeah.
So has
He's
she
just
not
waiting
overstepped?
around for some better decision to be
Idiot.
made by someone else. So-
He's an idiot. He's dumb. He's waiting for the ghost of his wife to show up and tell him
oh,
if it's a good
Meg.
idea.
Meg's not dead. She's just like, screw this idiot.
She's
I'm out of
out.
here.
She's done. Maybe she lives in Puerto Vallarta.
I think she lives. I think she lives on an island with John Aston and Mrs. Roper.
Oh God.
Oh,
Shotguns
by
full
the
of
way,
sand. Yeah.
by the way,
Hmm.
I think I saw this correctly. I think I'm remembering this correctly. I
Yeah.
think Mrs. Roper's back for the opener of season 3. So,
Really?
yeah, I think she's just like the opener. She's just
Oh wow.
like we always have Jamie on as our first guest. I think maybe she's just the opener.
Just
So,
how it starts. We got
yep.
to get things started. Okay. Uh, Mike, we're in the Pirates Cove now. Gopher joins his parents. They're having a couple drinks. Again, Gopher immediately, his go-to is a silly routine at everything. It's crazy. He's trying jokes, prop comedy. Vera grabs two stirring sticks and joins in.
She can't help
And
herself.
Gopher Senior's like, bye. I'm out. Stands up and he's like, I said what I said. I'm out of here. You guys are ridiculous. Uh, just like, this is crazy. He's so beaten down. He must have had to deal with this like his whole life when he was around, you know?
Which wasn't
Remember,
often.
which wasn't often.
Mm.
Gopher asks what's wrong with Dad. Vera said that he's concerned about Gopher. Vera says that she gets carried away and Gopher has his job to think about. Vera goes on to say that his dad says she acts like a lunatic. She does. And it must be embarrassing for Gopher. Gopher is pissed and he says he's going to have a what? A little talk. This is the second little talk of the episode. I mean, Bob really had a little talk. You know what I mean? Let's see if Gopher's talk is smaller than Bob's talk to his daughters. Ship is docked in Puerto Vallarta. Mac and Maggie sitting on the deck in front of a terribly fake background. Like, wow, Puerto Vallarta is in 2D. That's weird. I don't know how does that work. Max says there's a restaurant in Puerto Vallarta that specializes in chicken mole.
Oh,
Mole, famous hangover cure. Um,
not the
this
chicken, just the
makes
mole.
it's like a chocolatey sauce, and they put it over different things, so it's over the chicken. It's not like sweet like a chocolate, but it's like a rich almost. It's like a sauce. It's
It's a
good.
weird hangover cure.
It's good. I don't know if it ever. I haven't been hungover enough to know if it really worked. You know what I mean?
Oh, I've seen you hungover enough. We should have gotten you some chicken
Yeah,
molays.
we should have probably gotten me some chicken Malay. Probably a good idea. Ugh. Yeah, I don't handle that well. Anything would help. Um, Maggie says she's not up for chocolate covered chicken today. I like that line right there.
Fair.
She says she doesn't want to go into town. Mac asked her what's wrong. She says she really like a strawberry malted in a pickle. Uh-oh.
This was great. This was great.
Uh-oh.
This was great.
Mac's face changes dramatically.
Oh,
Mac's
so,
like,
I mean, just
oh, shit.
amazing acting because
Just melted.
obviously, as TV teaches you, I don't think this definitely didn't happen in our pregnancy where the cravings were very specific, but in
Yes.
TV, the cravings are always the most specific.
That's
So
the best.
So he's just like laughing this off as a ridiculous order, and then he realized what's it mean.
Oh, shit.
And oh man, the facial is just top drawer
I
acting.
I love he like optimistically asks her if this is just a Mother's Day joke, which made me
Yeah,
laugh because it's like, that old Mother's Day
it's
joke.
classic.
Uh she asks him not to be mad, and he says he's not mad, he's just stunned, which I feel like is an honest answer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't think that there was anger.
Nope, not at all.
No. Oh, those mean noble girls are in their cabin. I'm not. They're still the same. Uh, Judy says that Vera acts like she owns Daddy. And these girls are so mean. Judy says, "I'm going to Puerto Vallarta anyway. You coming with me?"
Yep.
And the other men, they go, "Yeah," and they go.
They say this over some funky disco tracks too.
Yeah,
By the way.
yeah. Well, it was good. They tuned it in on the radio. You know what I mean? On Puerto Vallarta radio. It's very funky down
Hey.
there. Escuche más el funko. We see Steubing walking with Gopher Senior. He asks Steubing why everyone calls him Gopher. What?
Doesn't he like the name Burl? That's my
Burl?
father's name was Burl.
It's a very vanilla ice cream, plain oatmeal kind of name, But
Yeah.
Steubing says it's hard to stay close because he's at sea all the time. And then Steubing is called to the bridge. It's donut time. We both know it's donut time. Call me to the bridge at 3:00 every day. Boston cream.
Steubing must be so mad because Gopher's dad really keeps him from going upstairs. And Steubing's just like, it's donut o'clock.
I
Let's
gotta
go.
Stop donut blocking me, dude. Come on. It's 3:00. At 3:05, I start to get the shakes. Gopher Senior says he and Gopher were never really close. He was out on the road for 10 months, a year. What job is on the road 10 months? What is he working for the WWF back then? What is he like? What do you do on the road 10 months a year? Like that doesn't even make sense. What?
Maybe he was a NBA referee. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it's Jack Neese. The one that got caught for the point shaving there. No, I don't get it. What do you do 10?
Yeah, do you think
Holy
it's 10
crap,
on, 2 off? Or do you think it's like...
I mean, I just thought that was just
Oh,
wild.
you know what? Maybe he's an ice road trucker.
I didn't think about that. Or he works on a crab boat. You know what I mean?
See him in episode 1 of next season.
Yep. He says they missed all that wonderful father-son stuff. He had a desk job by the time Jennifer came along.
There you go.
There
Very
we
impressed.
go.
Shout out Chubbs.
Loved it. But Gopher was already off and on his own. Love
Yep.
that he brought up Jennifer. That was
Yep.
fantastic.
It was funny. I went back because I knew Chubbs. I wasn't confident it was Jennifer, so I did look it back up and was very happy to see that it was the same. So they are really improving the
Tighten it up.
continuity.
Yeah,
They
they're
they
tightening it up.
definitely have. When you think about how ridiculous it was in season 1, they really have been really strong with that, which is again not a high shelf to reach, but still appreciated for sure.
Steubing really needs to get to his donuts, so he wants to wrap up this dialogue by sharing a very wise phrase that only a sea captain would share, and that's only the past can't be changed. Gives a 2-finger salute, and it is donut time. He is poof. He's gone in a cloud of powdered sugar. Ah,
Sorry about your terrible relationship with your son, but
poof.
I got a Boston cream on deck, so let's go.
Oh, man. I usually get 2 just in case someone joins me. P.S. No one ever joins me. Uh-oh, here comes Gopher. He is fired up from the Pirates Cove. Oh, boy.
Arr.
He's mad. This little talk is not going to be so little. He says, Dad, what are you thinking of? Mom's not embarrassing me, and you have no right to ruin her vacation. Even if you don't care that much about me, don't take it out on you. Take it out on her, rather. And Gopher's dad says, you don't think I care about you? Tells Gopher that he cares about him very much. Gopher asks him, then why do you act the way that you do? Gopher's dad saying, I've always feel like an outsider.
I'm a weirdo.
I'm a weirdo. Son, I hardly know you, and you don't know me at all. And Gopher is the waterworks are going. He's crying. Gopher and his dad hug. His dad calls him Gopher, and he starts crying harder. I'm like, end of episode right here. Like, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
what a nice. I thought it was kind of nice, that
Yep.
little scene.
Yeah.
Back in the Pirates
It would have been
Cove.
funny if you would have seen like some powder from the. Would have been funny if you had seen some of the powder from the donuts
Footprints.
come down on top.
Is that snow? No, it's not snow. It's 83
Oh,
degrees outside.
So heads up, drop my box of munchkins.
Just crystals, sugar crystal. Mind the glaze. Don't step on the glaze. We're back in the Pirates Cove. I did have a thought. So Isaac, I did mention before, I thought he was dressed like an owl. He's dressed like one of the characters from a cartoon called Battle of the Planets, where the good guys, they dress like birds. It's a whole thing. Mac's still in shock. Isaac gives him a drink and Max says, to celebrate. Max says, celebrate. He says he'll be 76 when the kid's finally on his own. Do that math.
Yep.
Isaac said that his dad was in his 50s when he was born. And Max starts talking about what it was like to be a dad to 6 children. You could tell he's starting to like.
Oh yeah.
That dad pride.
This as 2 of us who had children later in life, this was interesting to watch, especially because it feels like growing up there weren't people who had kids this late in life.
No.
So this was probably a little progressive for what it was. Obviously, this is an extreme, but
sure. But yeah, and in the late 70s, no, this wasn't. Well, it looks like he's bragging about his parenting skills. Looks like this one's all wrapped up, Mike. What could up? Here comes Julie. Maggie's had an accident. Somebody's always had a damn accident. Like they always have to.
We got to get these steps checked. That's what took what's her name out. Like
she almost did do emergency. Oh, are they gonna have to do emergency surgery on this one too?
Like, yeah, Julie's like she's fine. Surgeon. They walk in. Doc's got her.
Get Dr. Barnes on the phone. Civil War medicine, just awful.
Yeah.
Julie said she tripped and fell over some steps. And Mac gets up and he heads to Maggie, who's with Doc. I really thought we'd get a commercial here.
Yeah, it was odd that we went right to it, but I guess maybe they had to. Although they didn't really play it for suspense, like so. I guess, but they just wanted to make sure people didn't think that anything happened, So
Julie would have been like, well, she's in Doc's office. He's going to see her in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, he's got he's got lunch.
He's got lunch. He's got a Domino's pizza on the way. He wants to free himself up. Maggie's on Doc's exam table getting her ankle wrapped with an ace bandage, which made me think of Bill Bixby.
Yes.
Didn't Bill Bixby get an ankle injury and he threw him in a wheelchair?
He twisted his knee.
Oh, his knee. Okay.
So,
Well, that makes sense.
It's much different. Yeah.
It's a way different thing.
Yeah.
That's not an ace bandage situation.
No.
She explains to Mac that she sprained her ankle. Mac asks how the baby is. Doc says the baby is fine, as though he has some sort of ultrasound machine in his office to be like, maybe don't say that. Mac and Mac's hair are both super relieved. And Mac and Mac's hair leave Doc's office arm in arm. Again, I thought we were going to go to a break here. It's kind of awkward that there wasn't a break. Vera's in her cabin. Phone rings. It's Judy and Mary, and they're in jail. And Vera says, too effing bad, and hangs up the phone.
I guess you should have made better choices.
Yeah. Yeah. Who? We'll wait for your dad. Anyway, Vera says she's going to come get them.
When the phone rang, I immediately was like, oh my God, please be in jail. I didn't think they'd actually do it.
I didn't. And we'll go over why they're in jail, but that's a little...
could have fleshed out the jail a little bit.
It
should have been like comical jail. Like it should have been like from the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, like just banditos and stuff.
Don Knotts is working. He's the sheriff on duty. Gopher tells his mom that he wants to perform with his dad at the cruise show instead of his mom. And his mom's kind of happy about this secretly, And we go to our third break. All right. Starting to wrap things up here. Big announcement, buffet dinner in the Coral dining room tonight. Heck
for those of you not dining on
that's
port, for all you cheap bastards.
For all of you who do not like Mexican restaurants that don't serve alcohol, we'll have a buffet.
For all of you that paid all this money to travel into a different land and decided to have chicken fingers off a hot plate.
That's funny. Yeah, like certain amount of those tourists were just loading up on like Caesar salads.
Yeah.
Like, nothing ethnic at all.
Breakfast buffet makes total sense, but you're not going into these ports. What's the point of going on the cruise?
Yeah. Well, yeah, then go on a cruise that doesn't go into ports.
Yeah.
If you're not going to use the ports.
Just go to a buffet.
I could totally see being on this cruise and like my other half going, "Oh, you ready to go to Puerto Vallarta?" And I'd go, "Why? There's a buffet dinner in the Coral dining room tonight. Why would I want to leave?"
Plus, don't forget parasailing.
Careful. Careful.
Was that the same stock footage that they used before when they called it parachuting?
I was trying to remember the color of the parachute. I think it might have been the same thing. We see the mean noble girls, Steubing and Vera getting back on the ship. And I'm thinking, all right, old busybody had his donut and he's ready to help. Vera thanks Steubing for his help. Steubing excuses himself to go to his dinner, and gives Vera a two-finger salute. The third of the episode might be a high for two-finger salutes.
There was one earlier where it was like shot from behind. Like he was like...
He's leaning into that as his...
Well, the season's wrapping up. He has a quota. He's got to get rid of them before...
Maybe he's doing the two-finger this season because it's season 2. Maybe next season he's going to be 3. Although 9's going to be a challenge.
That would be so good if he did season 2. Well, first of all, episode 1 next season, he better be doing it in a mitten because it's so cold.
That's true. We won't know. We won't know till the third episode of the season. That's really funny. Vera tells the girls that they need to find their father. Julie tells Vera thanks without using the phrase "thank you." I don't know. It was very weird. Mary does apologize and thanks her for coming to get them. And they got arrested for not having a, quote, tourist card. What the
which
hell
is
are they
apparently a
talking?
thing.
What is that?
Even today, it is still a thing. I looked it up,
Is it
and
like
I
a
think it's
visa
just
or
Mexico does it. Mexico does it in just to make it like easier to entry and all that stuff. But yeah, it's a thing. It's an actual
wouldn't it
make.
make you like a target too if you're, you know what I mean? Like, hey,
Well,
welcome to Mexico,
I don't
tourist.
think it's a deli placard. Like I think it's probably
Fair
just like
enough.
a
Oh,
a
you don't have
quick
to wear it
card.
around your neck. You
Yeah,
don't
I
have to
don't
wear
think
it
it's like you're
as a throne.
you're not
Crap.
spinning it like a phone shop
Fair
or
enough.
something.
Like one of those sign guys. You're not
Yeah,
doing that with
yeah.
it.
I'm a tourist.
Rob me. Rob me.
Yeah.
Vera says that they shouldn't tell her dad, that she didn't tell her dad, but they should tell him. Right on cue. Here comes Bob, who's been doing God knows what for all
Yeah.
day. Who knows?
He was at the bar.
Or a
He said he
phone
was at the
call
bar. He's
with.
like, you never showed up at the bar.
Oh, that's right. Uh, Bob asked where the girls have been all day. The girls do not come clean. All right. Looks like we're off to that talent show, perhaps, and we see the chef. Mike, I was told he was going to play the spoons. I was not told he was going to play the ladles, because that's a way more difficult task.
Well, I think early Elvis is the spoons. Late Elvis is the ladles.
Oh, makes
That's how
sense.
that works.
The wider the spoon, the older the Elvis. That makes
Yeah, the
sense.
wider the Elvis, the wider the spoon.
That makes sense. Okay. We see Julie, who decides to play a song on flute for mothers everywhere.
Yeah, so out of nowhere, Julie, and first of all, she like loads up with classic Julie no confidence, right? So she's like, "This is a flute. I'm not trying to insult you. Just when I play it, in case you don't know what it is." And then she plays it very well. So Julie is a pro flautist.
A pro air flautist. Just
Yep.
saying.
So good for Julie. So
Good
there we
for
another
Julie.
fact that Julie's
There we
good at
go.
fluting, which is
Good for
probably
you.
why she was so upset that that jazz trio bailed when Deacon Dark showed up.
She was hoping for a little sit in.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. Can I add a little jazz flute? Yeah.
It's probably another reason that she didn't want to move to Alaska because I imagine playing a flute up there is terrible. It's like
Zero
Christmas
jazz
Story. You're
clubs.
just putting your tongue on a pole.
Well, there's just not a lot of flute clubs anywhere, really, but especially in your colder environments.
Do you think she learned it in Oregon? Do you think she learned it at that high school that we just had the reunion for?
Oh, Paris.
Or
She learned it in Paris.
Paris with Buddy Stanfield?
Yeah, when she was a kept woman.
All my women play wood instruments. So,
Pick one. You can have piccolo or flute. I pick flute. All right. Noble girls are talking about what happened with the whole Mexican jail thing. They tell Vera that she's a real friend. Vera tells them that she doesn't know if she wants to be their friend.
I don't know if I want to be a friend.
Oh boy. She tried to help them out and they repaid her by lying to their father. She says, I thought you had a lot more going for you than that. Think about it. And she gets up and leaves.
But okay,
it's terribly inconsistent here.
It's inconsistent and it's impatient. And you could have been like, hey guys, I'm not going to tell your father, because I think of you as adults and I'm trying to cultivate this relationship. But if you don't tell him,
yeah, you
I'm
put a
going
timetable on that. If you
Yeah,
don't tell him by the end of the evening, I'm going to tell him.
Right. Don't throw a hissy fit.
No. Weird. But again, I feel like it's a very non-parent thing to do for somebody who's trying to be a parent, that maybe they feel like that's the right, you know what I mean? Like,
right. And she also, so it was interesting. So sometimes I forget that, TV tropes, right? Sitcom tropes, especially of the 80s and 90s that we kind of grew up with. This is before that. And so I think if this was in 1985, the way it goes is she doesn't tell, Ken Berry.
I see.
The kids don't tell Ken Berry. Ken Berry finds out, and the argument is with them because she's trying to get in good with the girls.
And then Ken
they
tells
apologize.
Vera, like, you have to be
right.
You know what I mean?
So
like, part of being a parent is communicating to your, you could go crazy with it.
But I don't think this show in 1979 would pull that trigger.
No.
And so we got a much worse version of it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Vera leaves the table. Gopher and his dad are wearing tuxes in their cabin. Gopher Sr.'s having some cold feet, but Gopher's mom tells him that he has to because she lost her voice. Love this part. Love this. She
This was
accidentally
funny.
says
This was
something's
really
funny.
funny.
We're back to Bob. Bob sees Vera poolside. Rapid fire. Scene changes now. Vera's crying because she thinks she's a terrible parent. Just then, those mean noble girls walk up and tell Bob about the whole Mexican jail thing. But Bob, rightly so, he's PO'd that Vera didn't tell him. I would feel the same way. But the girls tell Bob it's not her fault. They were supposed to tell him, and they let Vera down by not telling him. But again, she didn't tell him. She just went. Either way,
Yeah.
I don't want to over dissect.
Well, she probably couldn't find him because Bob's just AWOL
he's
this whole trip.
Missing. He's in an invisible bar somewhere.
Yeah.
Imagine he's just sleeping somewhere.
We were in the Pirates Cove a lot. He was not there.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
What if he's running around?
Oh. He was in Makeout Corner. No one will see me here. Oh, I make out with all my ladies here. Flo, Vera, Alice.
What if he's the father of Mac's baby?
Maggie's baby?
Oh, no.
She doesn't have the heart to tell Mac.
Wait. The dead wife is named Meg, and she's named Maggie.
See, we've seen this before. He's like, wait, aren't you the same? Did you do an ad campaign? Bob gets over the whole Mexico thing incredibly quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the girls refer to Vera as mom, which seemed a bit manipulative.
That was the most unearned thing we've seen since Ray Foster got let back into his house.
That's very funny. That is very funny.
That was just
it's true because it was like
nothing there. Nothing. And she almost said it as like, all right, this will buy us like 6 months. So.
Yeah, she's not bright. Let's just hit her with an "I love you" and call her mom, and then and then it's noble hug time. Group hug time.
Just an absolute awful storyline.
Yeah, that's no good. Absolutely no good at all. Here comes Gopher and Gopher Senior. They're going to do their Sunny Boy routine, which was great, as we said before.
Yep.
And it kind of grew.
Yeah, it ate some time, but that's the design of the bit, right? You got a lot of room to spread out, and this felt like, okay, this is Robert Cummins, right? Like that felt like whatever his act is, there was a lot of that in there, and it was really good. And we have said this in the past. This show does old comedians; they do them right every time.
1,000%.
So this was really good.
I thought it was great.
Yeah,
and I know we talk about musical performances. I think it's up there. Because it was so endearing to me. I love the background behind it.
Yeah, listen.
See. I mean, it's
that category is that legitimately might be the hardest category we have this season. Like that thing is jam packed.
A lot of music.
We've had 6 songs in the last 3 episodes of the season.
Very musical. I'd love a montage of the music. That would be fun. Of all like the best music. That would be cool if they had something like that.
Yeah. You put me to work. I gotta do this now for the gram.
I thought about that right after I said that. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh.
Great. I guess our season break isn't gonna be a break for one of us.
Gopher tells his dad that he loves him. Gopher Sr. says the same to Gopher. So sweet. Roz is screaming encore. And she tries to explain how she has suddenly regained her voice. 4th break, sir.
Yep.
Let's wrap this sucker up. The nobles are leaving the ship. And one of those mean girls said something about needing 250 cookies. And I'd have been like, go make them yourself. You go to Mexico and get them. Maybe they're in that jail.
Yeah. You ever hear the Keebler elves get going?
No kidding. Go to the store. Bob says to Vera, well, that makes it official, mother. Bob, you
awful. Just
you
awful.
really leered it up this week, sir. Sorry. Yeah. I had such high expectations for him. Just based on Mama's family. I don't know why.
Yeah, you've had some second half disappointments. I feel like it started with Bob Denver, and a lot of these
Yeah,
people that
that
you were
was
hoping would be better were not. So
no, I was disappointed. Mac and Maggie are saying goodbye to Doc and Julie. Doc makes a joke and says they don't have to name the baby after him. Mac said that actually never occurred to him.
yeah, get
Maggie
bent.
says, "Yeah, get out of here, Adam." Maggie says, "Me neither." And Julie, with her last joke of the season, who'd want to name a baby Doc? Okay.
All right.
If you
Sorry,
hear a little
Julie.
weird
Should have
noise,
left on the flute, hon.
my dog is having puppy dreams in the background, so I do apologize.
Oh, that's fun.
I don't want to like militantly like wake up, like be quiet. So if you hear little
We're wrapping up the
squeaks,
season.
you hear this my sweet dog snoring, please don't. Uh,
Yeah.
anyway, so Gopher's parents are walking with Stubing and Gopher as they leave the ship. Stubing tells him to visit again soon. Roz asks Stubing to take care of Gopher. Don't let him get hit by a palm tree or anything crazy like that or
Yeah, trying to
shot.
kill him next season.
Gopher says that this has been the best Mother's Day ever. The day he discovered his dad. Aw. Gopher Sr. says maybe we can do it again for Father's Day.
But they
I
can't.
really, right? They can't. Here, that is where this episode should have ended. But no,
Oh, I knew you were going to.
Mr. Make It About Himself kind of looks over the head and he says, "That's what I call a happy ending." And that is
Button
the
on
end.
season 2. Season 2 wrap.
Bam. He's like, no, I'll do it. I'll do it.
No,
I'll do it.
I'm good.
It's my ship.
Okay. I ad-libbed that one. I had that. I got this one. Hey, Paul Stanley, bring that camera over here.
Yeah, come here. Come here. Get my good side. And when I mean good side, I mean all my sides.
They have certainly made more of an effort with ending these things. They
Yeah.
did a lot of freeze frames this
I like the
season.
freeze frame an awful lot, man.
At one point, they did like the end of a scene, like kind of a lame comedy scene, but the credits would roll over it. They've tried a lot of different things.
Yeah.
The poignant Stubing, Jerry Springer, take care of yourself and each other is kind of like, I don't need that
You would
next
need like
season.
Stubing's minute. Just like,
Kids,
I
we
don't
learned a
even
lot
know.
today about mothers.
He's just
We
like,
all have them.
always
They're
wear a
just like,
safety vest. Like it's all like the end of a G.I. Joe show,
yeah, knowing's half
basically.
the battle.
Yeah. It's every one to grow on. That's all it is. And that's it, my friend.
That is it for season 2. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Totals and a recap. We are currently sitting at a debate
Yeah.
for both best and worst. We'll save that for the stubbies in a couple of weeks. This was not the best episode by any means, but I would say that we ended the season with 3 good episodes.
I agree.
And it's been
It
a
was a little
long
scary.
time.
It's been a long time since we've had that many good episodes in a row.
In a row. This feels like, honestly, the beginning of season 1, like the first 10 episodes or something like that. It's been a while.
I'm glad they
and
got
I
the
would
momentum
say,
back, though. I'm
yeah,
glad that they found maybe that formula or whatever it is. I
yeah.
hope it continues.
I'm glad they found it right before they took 5 months off.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. I hope they just kept filming. Just keep on filming and knock out that season.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how they come back. Because you're right. We talked a lot about this last season. The consistency needed to improve, and it did. I feel like the characters didn't vacillate as much, and if they did, it was maybe just like a 1 episode kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Julie. That might just also be the dynamic of having 5 people and all these guests.
Yeah. There's
So
only so much, right?
We'll see. But I do think consistency and the continuity, which we saw in this episode a lot, really made a big difference. And this is, like I said, this is not a great episode, but it was enjoyable.
It just wasn't right. It moved.
2 of the storylines were fun,
I thought
and that's all you really need. Like we're not living in the world of 3 great
Mm-mm.
storylines. That's just not
No,
happening
no,
anymore.
we don't even
But
expect it.
no,
I certainly don't expect it.
yeah.
So
But
yeah.
the final 3 episodes of the season, there were 9 storylines, and I would
Hmm.
say 8 of them were really good, and that
I
is
agree.
insane based
I
on what we've
agree.
had. So
I agree. I'd tell you what, watching the end of this season definitely gets me more excited for season 3, as opposed to we limped out of season 1 with
yeah,
some really bad episodes where it was like,
yeah,
God, I really hope they fix this. They right this
yeah,
ship, no pun
yeah.
intended. And they
And
did. It just
it's
took
fun.
them a whole season to get it right.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that too, because I was trying to figure out, is this season better than last season, or at least how do I feel about this season? And I think if you listen to our shows, the first half, we were very down on this season. And then it's funny, there are a lot of bad episodes, like in the 16 to
Yeah,
21 or
yeah,
something like that, right? But the difference between ending on a positive note and at least having some of those things we talked about, like it just feels better than last year.
yeah.
Even if last year, maybe if you really like went episode for episode, was a better
Hmm.
season, I do at least feel better about season 3 being good. And
Yeah,
like we
I
said,
don't
we
think
don't need them all to
anything.
be good.
No, 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 no. And we don't
Yeah,
even, the bar's not that high where it's not even like, well, we're lowering the bar. The bar is just, I just want to be entertained, have a few laughs, but link the stories
yeah,
like they are doing a better job of.
yep.
That's it. That's all I want.
And here's the thing: I can hate one storyline and still enjoy the
Same
episode.
here. Same here.
It's when you hate 2 of them, or when
Or
it's
God
like a
forbid
level
if it's all
beyond. Like,
three or just,
yeah, and so this was encouraging, and like we said, hopefully, I think we're lined up for a good season opener next season because again, Jack Chenault's back, so we have continuity. I know we have some guest stars. I'm excited to see. The boat's going the other way, so
let me
um,
ask you.
we'll see.
So this is episode 50, right? Which again
Yeah.
is pretty cool to hit that number.
Yep.
Would you say at this point that we are, how close are we to being official experts on the Love Boat, or do you not achieve that until you finish the project?
I think part of the problem, the way we do this, is we kind of are trying to watch it as it happens as opposed to like researching things.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, experts on the Love Boat itself, maybe not, because there are just things that we just don't
Oh,
know.
Easter eggs and weird stuff
And
like, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying, like, if you presented yourself as an expert of the Love Boat and then they say, oh, well, what happened when Julie left in season 7? Like, we don't know. Like, we don't know any of
No.
that stuff
Well, it's just
because we're
like, you
trying
know,
to
like
watch
that,
it as
well,
it
like
comes.
that Billy Joel cover. Remember that in Step Brothers where he only did early Billy Joel? So maybe we
Right.
could just be like early Love Boat experts.
Well, you know what I think we are is I think we are connoisseurs of the episodes. I think
I
we
agree
have
with that.
I have a very good shorthand of the episodes, and if I don't
Yeah.
have it off the top of my head, I at least, like, for example, it was Bobby Van that I was trying to think of earlier, things like that. Which is, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think we can at least
Well,
do
we have
that.
a
But
lot. We have there's more capacity. There's a larger capacity in my brain to retain a lot of this knowledge that we've gotten over the course of 2 seasons and one Stubby Award episode
yeah.
than I ever thought I would have had for a 40-some-year-old TV show.
Yeah, and the fun thing has been, and we've talked about this before, the fun thing with us doing the show is because I think if we did it straight, it wouldn't be very good.
No,
We don't
no,
necessarily like the show all the time.
no.
But our mythology that goes along with it really also, that doesn't make us experts in the Love Boat either. So
Well, and our sort of mythology starts to take on a life of its own. I think that's my favorite part so far is just the crazy, cast of characters that are the first 2 seasons of the show.
yeah, no, but to your point, we're too far down the road now. Like, even if it was just horrendous, we would keep doing it, obviously.
Yeah,
But it's like I do feel a lot better about it if I at least know it can achieve entertaining heights. And you know
yeah.
what? I think there's 25 episodes next year, but what did I say? 3 2-parters maybe or something
Yeah.
like that.
Oof.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
So, if you give me 15 and 10, that's a great season.
I'm
If you
super
give
happy
me
with that.
if you split it or whatever, I can deal with that because I feel like this season probably if we really sat down and looked at it, probably ended up being closer to split
Yeah, I
than it
agree. I
felt
agree.
like. It was just a lot of like ups and downs. So,
Yeah.
Captain of the Week for the last time this season.
This was an easy one. I mean, this one was super Mac O'Brien. I
Yeah.
mean, how do you not the guy? I mean, he just ruled. Just not just him. The guy. It just played such a. He just killed it. I mean,
Yeah.
if I was making an all-star team of season 2, I think
Yeah.
I would definitely include Mac O'Brien on my all-star team for the season.
And I had him and Maggie because I thought she was really, really
Yeah,
good too. Because again, that
1,000%.
you could play that. There is a version of those characters played by lesser actors, and that storyline stinks.
It stinks. Yeah, because
Yeah,
you're not even. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
and yeah, they both, but especially Mac O'Brien, just
It's
like he was
fantastic.
just nailing that. You actually really felt like he was that guy, like especially that
Yeah,
scene with Isaac, right, where he's like kind
100%.
of going through all of it, and
It was
maybe I'm a
nice.
little more soft with those kind of storylines now than I used to be, but I thought it was really good, and
I thought so.
it was very true to what felt like a real life conversation.
I
So
agree. I agree. I agree.
sucks he won't be back on.
No,
So
it does suck.
walk the plank.
This one's real easy for me.
Yeah,
I'm not even going character name. I'm going Ken Barry. Just, just felt like he it just felt like he wasn't giving 100%.
see, I think it's the opposite. I think he was giving 100%, which is
Oh, you think
worse.
that's just Ken Barry?
I
Oh,
just
that is
don't think
worse.
he's got
He's no
dramatic
chops, dude.
chops.
No, no.
So,
And
and
no
I think Veer's
offense,
kind of the
great on
same
the.
thing.
Yeah, just
That storyline was not good, and I feel
no,
like
it's dumb.
that's what I have too. I feel like as mean as the Noble Girls were, I'll admit they should have given them a little more bite, maybe. Like it almost should have been like,
Like overwhelming.
yeah, like and make them the villain. I don't know. There's just a lot of ways they could have gone, but they went with
Well,
this weird kind
well,
of
force
mashup of
Ken.
like 6 different things.
Well, that way it would have forced Ken Barry's character to be a little more like,
Assertive.
hey, like you can raise your voice a little if you know what I mean. Like, don't be scared of it, Ken Barry.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, he was only
Or
appearance, so it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah. And again, if they really felt like it, especially on a Mother's Day episode, they could have had like one scene where they really talk about it, but they didn't really talk about it. So he was too busy necking in the in the
Oh,
foyer.
God.
So
Creepy.
no, Mama's gonna be so mad. Anyway, for the last time this season, that is totals and a recap for this week.
Plugs. Hitting season Patreon absolutely hammered. Tune in to Absolutely Hammered, the unofficially official podcast for diehard Phillies fans. Join the Hitting Season Patreon today and get access to Absolutely Hammered, where you can hear our very own Mike Robertson. You can check me out on SiriusXM's Fish Radio on a show called Crowd Control. You can find us everywhere you find your audio podcasts: iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Amazon Music, Player FM, and my new favorite, Podchaser.
Oh, suck it, Deezer.
Yeah, Deezer and I broke up. I'm done with Deezer. Please hit that subscribe button and leave us a rating and a review. Check out our video podcast on YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button, leave us a rating and a review. And you can find us on Instagram and Facebook. Look for weekly reels and updates. And Mike, for the last time in season 2, let me check the old mailbag.
Mailbag has been very full this season. No matter what happens here, it's been very full this season, and we do appreciate it.
No new mail, but like you
You
said,
bastards!
how could you? Okay. You can email us at theloveboatproject@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, the emails have been great. I think I said this a couple of weeks ago. The emails have been great, and they
Oh, we
have
love it.
given us some ideas for things, which we are definitely working on, and we do appreciate it. And also, you know, reviews and ratings and all the things help people see the show, which we want because we enjoy doing it, and we hope that you enjoy listening to it. So the bigger the community, the more we can keep this nonsense going. So
Yeah, nonsense it is. Next episode, Mike, second annual Stubby Awards.
May 5th, Cinco de
May
Mayo.
5th. It's
What
gonna be
better
a good
way to celebrate the 5th of May than with the second annual Stubby Awards? Black tie. We have 20 categories this season, up from last season. My guess is we will just keep adding categories every season. So the last one will be
Like
about 7 hours.
152 categories.
But yeah, we will have
exhale, best inhale. Yeah, it'll be.
Yeah. So
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of work goes into figuring these nominees out. It might not sound like it when we do it, but we actually do put some thought into who actually wins because we want to be able to say offhandedly next season, stubby winner.
That's right. That's right.
Irving
there
the
is weight.
Snake.
There is an earned weight that comes with that award. Yeah. Forever. From here until the end of time, they will be known as Stubby Award winners. So it's a big deal.
And even a nominee is a nice thing, although to be fair, we just kind of like try to remember if we nominated them or not because I never wrote those down. But we'll get to that. Maybe this season we'll do that, or maybe a industrious listener could do that for us.
We'll see.
Anyway, but that'll be in a couple of weeks. Black tie affair. Everybody.
Always, it's a big deal. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to season 2. We'll see you again, the Stubbies, in a couple weeks. Season 3, right around the corner. Till next time, I'm Mike, and this is my co-host, Mike.
50 episodes, and you still don't know how to sign off.
I don't know how to sign off. All right. Until then.